Welcome, everyone. This is your friend, the DN What If, here with another exciting fanfiction. Today, we're diving into the story of what if Deku got a chaotic system after USJ? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fanfiction content just like this. Now, let's get started with the fanfic. Izuku Midoriya was never meant to follow anyone else's path. When a snarky, chaotic system binds to him after the USJ attack, he doesn't just get stronger, he gets smarter, sharper, and deadlier. Now, with a mind honed like a blade and a system the USJ incident had left UA shaken and Izuku Midoriya broken. No one blamed him for freezing not out loud. But inside, the words stung. I was supposed to be a hero. I was supposed to help. Instead, All Might had to save me again. Late that night, while nursing his injuries and doubts, Izuku sat alone in his room, clutching the All Might notebook that had somehow survived the attack. He squeezed his eyes shut. There has to be a way. I need to be stronger, faster, smarter. I can't just rely on One for All to bail me out every time. A strange warmth bloomed in his chest. He gasped. The mark of One for All flickered. But it wasn't just that. In front of him, a blue translucent screen popped up. Welcome, user, Izuku Midoriya. Initializing hero system. Loading potential. 12%. 43%. 87%. Complete. Congratulations. You have unlocked the hero system. Quirk analysis. One for All detected. Personality assessment. Persistent. Selfless. Analytical. Starting bonus. Plus 5% growth rate. New skill unlocked. Analyze. Izuku stared, mouth open. Is this real? Another screen popped up. Quest. Prepare for the UA Sports Festival. Reward. 100 XP stat boost skill upgrade. Failure. Disappointment. Self-doubt. Missed opportunity. He touched the screen instinctively and instantly, new stats unfurled. Intelligence B. Stamina C. Technique C+. I'm being graded? His hand shook with fear, excitement. He didn't know. But one thing was clear. This was his chance. I will become the greatest hero, he whispered. No matter what it takes. And for the first time since the attack, he believed it. The next morning, Izuku woke up groggy. For a split second, he thought it had been a dream. The screens, the system, the impossible chance to finally grow faster. But as soon as he sat up, daily quest available, morning workout. Objective, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 5 kilometers run. Reward, plus 1 stamina, plus 10 XP. Failure, minor penalty, minus 1 stamina. Izuku blinked. This is real. It's really happening. Outside UA dorms, 6 a.m. Izuku sprinted around the training fields, ignoring the chill air biting at his skin. He dropped into push-ups, his arms trembling, but he pushed through, eyes wild with focus. Quest progress, 70%, 90%, 100%. Quest complete. Plus 1 stamina. Plus 10 XP. New passive skill unlocked. Enduring Spirit 5% fatigue resistance. Izuku wiped sweat from his forehead, chest heaving. Is this how pro heroes feel all the time? He wondered, a grin tugging at his lips. He opened the system's menu. His stats shimmered and sure enough, stamina had nudged up from C to C+. Intelligence B. Stamina C+. Technique C+. Later that day, Class 1. Midoriya, are you okay? Uraraka asked, tilting her head. You look like you fought a villain on the way to school, Ida added, adjusting his glasses. Izuku laughed nervously. Fine. Just, training hard for the sports festival. A little too hard, he thought grimly, feeling every sore muscle scream when he sat down. New quest, spar with a classmate. Bonus objective, win the match. Reward, plus 2 strength skill upgrade opportunity. He swallowed. I have to find someone to spar with. And win? His eyes darted around the room. Maybe. Uraraka? No, she'd be too kind to go all out. Maybe Ida? But his kicks are insane. Before he could decide, Bakugo slammed open the classroom door, stomping in with his usual scowl. Izuku felt the quest screen shimmer again. Optional subquest: defeat Bakugo in a spar? Warning: extreme difficulty. Izuku chuckled dryly to himself. Yeah, maybe not yet. That night in his room, Izuku stared at his skill tree. Branches shimmered faintly. Analyze, LV1, see weaknesses in real time. Enduring spirit, passive, minor fatigue resistance. But. Skills. Abilities. I can customize how I grow, he realized. No one else has this. Not even Todoroki or Bakugo. He clenched his fists. This time, I'll stand on the stage as more than just All Might's successor. I'll stand there as my own hero. The system dinged one last time before he fell asleep. Hidden quest activated. Surpass your limits. Condition: achieve C rank in all base stats before the UA Sports Festival. Reward: rare skill unlock. Izuku's heart pounded. The race had begun. And this time, he was ready to win. UA Training Grounds evening. The sun was dipping low, casting long shadows over the training fields. Izuku stood alone by the practice mats, bouncing nervously on his heels. Quest active: spar with a classmate. Bonus: win for double XP and stat growth. His classmates from 1A were busy doing their own late training. I can't spar with Bakugo or Todoroki yet. I'll get wrecked, he thought. I need someone strong but not crazy. Hey, a voice called. Izuku turned and there she was. Itsuka Kendo, the big sister of Class 1B, in her training uniform, sleeves rolled up and a confident grin on her face. You look like you're itching for a fight, she said, cracking her knuckles. Wanna go around? Izuku's system chimed. Opponent found. Itsuka Kendo quirk, big fist. Estimated threat level, C+. Except spar? Yes, no. Izuku gulped, then hit yes mentally. This is perfect. He bowed slightly. Be honored, Kendo-san. She chuckled. Don't go easy on me just because I'm from another class, okay? I should be saying that to you, Izuku thought grimly. Training mat start. Ready? Kendo asked. Izuku nodded. Kendo moved first, charging in with sharp footwork. She didn't use her quirk yet, just her raw martial arts skills. Izuku activated Analyze instinctively. Analyzing. Weakness detected. Slight delay after right hook punch. He dodged her swing by inches, his brain processing her moves faster than before. The system fed him subtle hints. Sidestep. Counter left. For the first time, Izuku moved without overthinking. He ducked low, aimed a quick palm strike at her side and hit. Kendo staggered back, surprised, then grinned wide. Not bad, Midoriya. She activated her quirk. Her hand grew massive, nearly the size of a small boulder. Izuku's system screamed a warning. Incoming attack, high force. Dodge recommended. He threw himself sideways just as her giant fist slammed into the mat, sending shockwaves through the front. Her hits are no joke. 2 minutes later, sweat poured down Izuku's face. His legs ached from dodging, but he kept moving, using the system's hints to stay one step ahead. Kendo, panting a little, finally called out, all right, you win this one. She shrank her hand back and offered him a handshake. You've gotten a lot faster, she said, smiling warmly. Impressive. Izuku blushed, bowing deeply. Thank you so much, Kendo-san. Quest complete. +2 strength, +2 speed, +50 XP. Bonus achieved, double reward. New skill unlocked, Counter-Strike LV. 1 small boost to counterattacks after dodging. Izuku's heart raced not just from the fight, but from the notification window floating in front of his eyes. I'm leveling up. I'm really getting stronger. After the spar as they parted. You should spar with me again sometime, Kendo said. You're fun to fight. Also, next time, don't hold back so much. Izuku nodded, already planning strategies in his head. Next time, I'll fight even better. He checked his updated stats before leaving. Strength C. Intelligence B. Stamina C+. Thick B. For the first time, strength and speed had climbed to C rank. And with the UA Sports Festival looming, he knew. This is just the beginning. Izuku Midoriya was never meant to follow anyone else's path. When a snarky, chaotic system binds to him after the USJ attack, he doesn't just get stronger, he gets smarter, sharper, and deadlier. Now, with a mind honed like a blade and a system here's something fun, hope you enjoy. UA Classroom 1A, morning before the sports festival. The tension was heavy in the air. Everyone buzzed with nerves and excitement about the sports festival, talking strategies, possible matchups, dreams of glory. Izuku sat quietly at his desk, checking his system menu under the table, tweaking his skill tree. He had almost finished setting his new Counter-Strike ability when a shadow loomed over him. He looked up and froze. Shoto Todoroki stood there, hands in his pockets, his usual calm expression colder than ice. The room around them quieted. Todoroki's voice cut through the chatter like a knife. "I'm declaring it now," he said. "I will defeat you, Midoriya, at the sports festival." The silence was deafening. Even Bakugo, who had been half asleep in the corner, snapped his eyes open. Uraraka gasped quietly. Ida adjusted his glasses so fast they nearly flew off. Kaken didn't get challenged. "I did," Izuku thought, his brain scrambling to catch up. Todoroki's mismatched eyes, one cool gray, one smoldering turquoise, stared him down, no anger, no mockery. Certainty. It wasn't personal. It wasn't about friendship. It was recognition. Izuku felt something inside him spark. A few months ago, he would have stammered and shrunk into his seat. New subquest: accept the rivalry. Objective: stand tall. Accept Todoroki's challenge. Reward: +5 reputation, +10 morale. He took a deep breath, heart pounding, and stood up. "I won't go down easily, Todoroki," he said, voice steady. "I'll give you everything I have." The class murmured, some impressed, some shocked. "Oh ho!" Kaminari whistled. "Midoriya's got some fire in him." "Looks like the dark horse has guts," Jer muttered with a small smirk. Tsuyu tilted her head. "I always knew Midoriya was strong." "Ribbit." Bakugo glared, sparks crackling from his palms. "Tisits diamen nerds. Like hell I'll let Icy Hot or Deku win," he growled under his breath. Meanwhile, Todoroki nodded once, as if satisfied. "Good," he said simply, then turned and walked back to his seat. The classroom exploded back into noise, everyone now buzzing about the Midoriya versus Todoroki showdown before the festival even started. Later private thoughts. Sitting at his desk, Izuku clenched his fists under the table, a grin tugging at his lips. "They're starting to see me as a real rival. Not just All Might's successor. Not just the kid who got lucky. But Izuku Midoriya, the hero in training standing on his own 2 feet. The system chimed one last time for the morning. Hidden title unlocked. Rival of Ice and Fire. Minor buff. 5% morale boost when facing strong opponents. Izuku smiled. Bring it on. Bakugo Katsuki. TCH, stupid Deku. Bakugo leaned against the wall near the exit of the classroom, arms crossed, teeth grinding together. What the hell was that? He saw it the way Midoriya stood there. No flinching. No stuttering. Looking Todoroki dead in the eyes, like he belonged there. Not the crybaby who used to trail behind him. Not the useless nerd he once sneered at. Bakugo's fists clenched tighter, tiny explosions sizzling in his palms. He's changing. He hated it. And somewhere deep down, he respected it. I don't care who the hell you think you are now, Deku. I'm still gonna crush you. Uraraka. But Midoriya's really grown. Uraraka smiled softly, fiddling with her fingers as she watched him out of the corner of her eye. There was a new energy about him lately, a steadiness she hadn't noticed before. Not just strength. Confidence. It made her chest feel funny. She pumped her fist quietly to herself. I gotta step up too. Otherwise, Midoriya's gonna leave me in the dust. Ida Tenya. Such admirable resolve, Midoriya-kun. Ida adjusted his glasses furiously, feeling a mix of pride and determination. To stand your ground when challenged by someone as powerful as Todoroki, that took more than strength. It took character. As class representative, I must ensure I too rise to the challenge. For the honor of Class 1A. Todoroki Shoto. He's different than before. Todoroki sat quietly at his desk, staring at his hand, the one that wielded ice, without hesitation. When he first saw Midoriya, he thought him reckless, timid, small. But there's something in his eyes. A refusal to yield. Todoroki flexed his fingers, frost cracking lightly across his skin. But I need strong opponents if I'm going to surpass him. And my father. Tsuyu Azui. Midoriya's always been strong, Tsuyu thought simply, resting her chin on her hand. But now others were starting to see it too. She blinked slowly. About time, ribbit. Kirishima Iger. Man, Midoriya's getting hardcore lately, Kirishima whispered to Kaminari. Totally. Kaminari whispered back. He's, like, one fight away from turning into a secret boss character. Kirishima grinned, feeling fired up. This sports festival is gonna be epic. Aoyama Yuga. Aoyama watched Midoriya with a twinkle in his eye. Ah, Midoriya. Soon you too shall sparkle like moi. He thought dramatically. He clicked his teeth and struck a pose no one noticed. Class 1A silent agreement. Whether they admitted it or not. Whether they understood it fully or just sensed it deep down. Every student in Class 1A realized something that day. Izuku Midoriya was no longer chasing them from behind. He was standing among them. And soon, maybe even ahead. UA Sports Festival opening ceremony. The stadium was roaring. Tens of thousands of people packed the seats, banners waving, reporters shouting into cameras. Izuku stood among the ocean of students, hands fidgeting slightly at his sides. Quest active. Shine at the sports festival. Objective. Make it into the top bonus. Impress pro heroes. Reward. Rare skill unlock. This is it, he thought, heart hammering. The world is watching. He felt eyes on him not just from the crowd, but from his classmates. Todoroki. Bakugo. Uraraka. Even Class 1B was glancing his way. He smiled faintly. Time to prove it wasn't luck. Time to show them what I can do. The obstacle course start. Go! Present Mike bellowed, his voice blasting across the arena. Immediately, it was chaos, students sprinting, quirks flashing, dust flying. Izuku activated Analyze instantly, paths lit up in his vision, highlighting safe routes through the crowd. He weaved between people, dodging debris and attacks with inhuman precision. Enduring spirit reduced the fatigue in his legs. Counter-Strike let him parry a random ice blast from a panicked 1B student. Quick Step, a new minor passive, let him dart through gaps barely big enough for a human body. This system is insane, he thought, a wild grin breaking across his face. XP gained, 20. Agility stat, slightly improved. First obstacle robots. The giant mech robots from the entrance exam thundered across the field. Izuku didn't hesitate. Instead of wasting time fighting, he used Analyze to find the joints on one robot's knee, a structural weak point. He sprinted forward, leapt onto its leg, bounced off the cracked knee, and soared over the others while dozens of students got stuck fighting them. Did Midoriya just parkour a battle robot? Kaminari shouted from below. Man, he's crazy. Kirishima laughed. Izuku hit the ground rolling, barely losing momentum. He was top 10 already. Keep pushing, he thought. Second obstacle, pitfall zone. The ground was a cracked nightmare, hidden pits waiting for careless feet. Izuku slowed down, scanning carefully, but before he could find the best route, a shadow loomed ahead. Standing easily atop a cracked pillar, arms crossed and smirking down at him, was a student he recognized. Mirio Togata, the third-year powerhouse, one of the big three. What's he doing here? Izuku thought in panic. Mirio laughed brightly. Yo, Midoriya, right? They let a few of us older students enter for exhibition, he said, his voice full of cheer. Hope you don't mind a little challenge. Izuku's system pinged like crazy. Warning. Unexpected encounter. Mirio Togata, the sun-eclipsing hero. Estimated threat level? An A-rank threat. Here. Before Izuku could move, Mirio stepped off the pillar and vanished underground. New mini-quest, survive the upperclassmen. Reward? Failure. Embarrassing defeat, massive reputation loss. Izuku barely had time to process it before the ground under him rippled. He's using his quirk. He activated Quick Step on instinct, leaping sideways as Mirio burst from the ground, aiming a friendly, devastating punch. The shockwave from Mirio's missed strike flattened a pit trap nearby. The other students screamed and scrambled away. Izuku landed awkwardly but stayed on his feet. Mirio grinned at him like a proud older brother. Nice dodge. You're sharper than I thought. Izuku's legs trembled, not from fear. From adrenaline. If I beat him even for a second, that'll mean something. His system dinged again. Temporary buff. Adrenaline surge plus 10% speed, plus 5% reaction time for 5 minutes. Let's go! Izuku Midoriya was never meant to follow anyone else's path. When a snarky, chaotic system binds to him after the USJ attack, he doesn't just get stronger, he gets smarter, sharper, and deadlier. Now, with a mind honed like a blade and a system, the obstacle course pitfall zone. Dust choked the air. Cracked earth shifted underfoot. Some students had already fallen behind, while others scrambled desperately to avoid being crushed or swallowed by the hidden pits. And in the middle of it all, Mirio Togata, smiling like a sunny executioner, facing Izuku Midoriya. Izuku's mind sharp and cold. I can't win in a straight fight. Not against him. Mirio wasn't just powerful, he was trained, experienced, and his quirk made him intangible at will. But he's not unbeatable. Izuku's eyes flashed. He shifted his mindset the same way he had back at the USJ, when things were desperate. Cold. Analytical. Serious. Skill activated. Focused thought, LV1. Increases tactical thinking speed under high stress. Plus 10% planning speed. Izuku's rapid analysis. Mirio's weakness wasn't physical, it was timing. His quirk made him vanish, but reappearing left him exposed for a fraction of a second. He tended to charge in a straight line after phasing, using momentum to finish opponents fast. If I can predict where he appears and trap him. Izuku's mind clicked into overdrive. The plan risky but genius. Step 1. Predict his phase-in point. Step 2. Create an artificial weak point. Step 3. Force a situation where Mirio either overshoots or miscalculates. New mini-quest, outsmart the upperclassmen. Bonus reward, unique tactical skill. The fight resumes. Mirio grinned and lunged again, phasing underground like a shark. Izuku didn't move randomly this time. Instead, he sprinted deliberately toward a cracked cluster of pillars, weak stone spires barely holding up sections of ruined flooring. Mirio shot up from underground exactly where Izuku predicted, his fist ped back. Izuku triggered it. Skill use, quick step decoy slide. He pretended to stumble, sliding to the side just as Mirio punched through the crumbling pillar. The pillar shattered and tons of debris fell instantly. Mirio's eyes widened. Because for that split second as he re-solidified to punch, he couldn't phase back quickly enough. Now, Izuku thought. He leapt forward, grabbing a chunk of debris and hurling it at the exposed Mirio. Boom. Dust exploded outward. The crowd gasped. When the dust cleared, Mirio stood, coughing slightly, hair a mess. Laughing. Nice, he said, rubbing his head. You actually clipped me a little? Izuku panted, sweat pouring down his face. He didn't beat Mirio, not really, but he forced a draw. He survived against a monster. Quest complete. Outsmart the upperclassmen. Reward, new passive skill, tactical foresight, LV1. Briefly glimpse an opponent's next move if you remain calm under pressure. Cooldown, 5 minutes. Izuku's screen flashed with the notice, but he barely processed it. Mirio laughed again and patted him on the shoulder. You're good, kid. Real good, he said warmly. Keep growing. I want to fight the real you someday, not just the you now. With that, Mirio waved and sprinted ahead effortlessly, giving Izuku the path to the next stage. Aftermath. Moving forward. Izuku stumbled toward the next checkpoint, battered, dusty, but smiling fiercely. The stadium buzzed word of Midoriya's standoff was already spreading. The pro heroes watching leaned forward, interest sparking in their eyes. Present Mick's voice cracked over the loudspeakers. And look at that, folks. Midoriya from Class 1A just went toe-to-toe with third-year Mirio Togata and lived to tell the tale. This kid is crazy. Inner thoughts Izuku Midoriya. Strength is important. Speed is important. But the mind is what wins battles. He clenched his fists tighter, eyes blazing with renewed fire. I'll win. I'll keep rising. Not because of luck. Not because of some gift. Because I'm Izuku Midoriya. And he ran forward toward the future. VIP Viewing Box UA Sports Festival. The air was charged with energy. Pro heroes lined the special stands, sipping drinks, chatting casually, but now, almost all their attention was locked on the large screens replaying one scene. Izuku Midoriya versus Mirio Togata. Eraserhead, Aizawa Shoyuta. Aizawa's eyes narrowed. He watched the footage frame by frame. Midoriya analyzing the battlefield, baiting the upperclassmen, executing a perfect counter with limited resources. Not flashy. Not destructive. Smart. Aizawa sipped his coffee. He's thinking like a pro already. He allowed the smallest twitch of a smile to appear. Good. About time the others see it too. Endeavor. The flame hero grunted. Smart enough, he said, arms crossed. But it won't mean anything if he doesn't have power to back it up in a real fight. Still, Endeavor's intense gaze lingered on Midoriya's profile longer than necessary. He's connected to All Might somehow. And that mind. He didn't say the rest aloud. Midnight laughed, her hand covering her mouth. Oh ho ho, what a clever little trickster, she said playfully. Setting traps, playing the long game. That's rare in someone so young. Her red lipstick curled into a grin. I like them smart. She made a mental note to keep an eye on Izuku Midoriya during the festival. Maybe even request him for special classes later. Ryukyu, the dragon hero. The gentle dragon hero watched with a tilted head. He's small still. But there's something about him. Not just raw strength. Resolve. Intelligence. Humility. She smiled softly. This one could grow into something powerful if nurtured properly. She leaned over, murmuring to a nearby assistant. Mark him down for observation. He's someone the Hero Public Safety Commission might want to keep tabs on. Maruko, Rabbit Hero. Maruko watched the replay with sharp, predatory interest. She wasn't usually one for nerds or thinkers, she liked fighters. But seeing a kid use the field like a battlefield commander? Dodging a monster like Mirio? Smirking, she kicked her feet up onto the railing. That kid's got guts. And brains. If he toughens up more, he might be worth throwing into a real brawl someday. I'll be watching. Green hair. Conclusion. Growing reputation. All across the VIP box, heroes were muttering. Some impressed. Some skeptical. Some like Midnight and Ryukyu seriously considering offering Izuku internships or scouting. The boy who once blended into the background was now burning into the minds of the nation's top heroes. And the festival wasn't even halfway done yet. UA Sports Festival Cavalry Battle Time. After the grueling obstacle course, the remaining students gathered into groups. Midnight winked playfully as she explained the rules. Teams of 2 to 4 people. Point values assigned based on placement, and Izuku, having ranked higher thanks to his performance, was a target worth 10 million points. He basically became a walking jackpot. All at once the students backed away from him. Izuku's perspective. He laughed awkwardly. This is worse than I thought. A cheerful ping popped up. System message. Congratulations. You are officially public enemy. #suggested advice. Make friends fast or perish gloriously. Bonus tip. Betrayal probability among random allies, 86%. That's extremely unhelpful, Izuku groaned internally. He glanced around desperately. No Uraraka. No Ida. Most of Class 1A looked sorry for him but didn't dare approach. Class 1B students smirked. A few whispered, I'm dead. Just when things looked hopeless, a figure stomped up. Muttering under her breath, glaring at everyone around her, came Mei Hatsum, the support course inventor. "Oi, Greenie," she grinned. "You need teammates, and I need a moving billboard for my babies. Let's team up." Before Izuku could respond, Hatsum already began strapping random gadgets to his arms and back. System alert. Warning. You are being modified. Unauthorized upgrades detected. They feel kind of cool though. Izuku's eye twitched. I guess Hatsum's. Enthusiastic. Next, a quiet hand tugged at his sleeve. It was Shiozaki Ibara, the vine-haired girl from Class 1B, the super calm, super religious one. "I feel it is my duty to assist you, Midoriya," she said serenely. "You possess a righteous heart." System comment. Blessing secured. Probability of holy protection, 5%. Probability of vine-based beatdown, 95%. I'll take it. Izuku thought desperately. Finally, to everyone's shock, a loud voice yelled, "Hey, nerd!" It was Mina Ishido from 1A, jogging over. Pink hair wild, grin huge. "I ain't letting you hog the spotlight alone," she said. "Plus, you're gonna need someone with moves." She winked. "You better be ready to dance, Midoriya." System message. New party member acquired, Dancing Queen. Izuku wanted to sink into the earth from embarrassment. Final team. Izuku Midoriya brains plus random gadgets. Mei Hatsum wild inventor mad mechanic. Shiozaki Ibara support and defense, vine control. Mina Ishido agility and distraction expert. Acid quirk. Team dynamic. Total chaos. Hatsum kept adjusting random parts of Izuku's gear mid-run. Ibara prayed quietly while tripping opponents with vines. Mina danced around, tossing acid globs like a gleeful tornado. And Izuku, stuck in the center, tried not to lose his mind. System message. Welcome to Team Disaster. Motto, win first. Apologize later. I hate you sometimes, Izuku muttered at his system. Final words before the battle starts. Izuku's teammates looked at him. Mina cracked her knuckles, ready to go wild. Hatsum adjusted his gear with a manic grin. Ibara folded her hands in prayer, vines writhing around her shoulders. Izuku took a breath. Serious mode engaged. No matter what, I'm going to win. Even if it's with this crazy crew. Midnight shouted, "Ready, go!" The cavalry battle erupted into chaos. Stadium waiting for the cavalry battle to start. From the sidelines, Class 1A students watched the disaster unfold. Izuku Midoriya, the guy everyone thought would team up with Uraraka and Ida, was now standing awkwardly with Mina Ishido, hanging off his shoulder casually. Hatsum Mei, adjusting a weird backpack on him, way too close for comfort. Shiozaki Ibara, murmuring gentle prayers and lightly fixing his messy hair with vines. Bakugo's POV. Bakugo stared. His eye twitched violently. "The hell is that nerd doing?" he barked, practically vibrating with rage. "Why is he got Pinky Hanjin off him like that?" Kirishima tried to hold back a laugh. "Looks like Midoriya's popular now." Bakugo growled like a rabid dog. Todoroki's POV. Todoroki blinked. "What is this? Strategy?" he asked quietly. Momo Yaoyorozu, beside him, shrugged helplessly. "I don't think so." They all watched Mina laughing, punching Izuku lightly in the arm before, to everyone's horror, she wrapped her arms around his neck from behind in a loose hug. Izuku went bright red instantly. Izuku's internal POV. System alert. Incoming hug attack detected. System recommendation, faint and play dead. Help, Izuku thought, frozen stiff. System comment. Are you blushing? Confirmed. Emergency status, flustered nerd. System suggestion. Embrace your destiny as a chick magnet. I hate you. Izuku mentally screamed at the system. Mina laughed, ruffling his hair even more. Relax, Midoriya. You're too stiff, she teased. How are we supposed to move together if you get all weird when someone touches you? Hatsum chimed in, not helping. Maybe I should strap another sensor to his chest. Monitor his heart rate. It's going crazy. Shiozaki, eyes closed, murmured gently. May the Lord grant you peace in the face of temptation, young Midoriya. Izuku's face hit critical nuclear redness. Bakugo, still screaming in the distance. Nerd. UF# King Traitor. Todoroki, internally. Why does it feel like I'm the only normal person here right now? He shook his head slowly. Final system message. System announcement. You have entered status, flustered mess. Special buff, plus 5% speed, running away only. UA Sports Festival Cavalry Battle start. Begin. Midnight's voice echoed across the stadium. Chaos immediately exploded. Teams scrambled, powers clashed. The arena turned into a full-on war zone. And in the middle of it all, Izuku Midoriya stood still. Eyes sharp. Mind sharper. Despite Mina pulling on his sleeve, Hatsum shouting about gadget testing, and Ibra muttering prayers, Izuku's brain clicked into overdrive. Izuku's inner thoughts. Tactical mode activated. Priority 1. Don't get crushed. Priority 2. Defend the headband. Priority 3. Attack only when the odds are in our favor. He scanned the field. He wasn't looking at quirks, he was looking at patterns, openings, danger zones. System message. Tactical vision activated. Enemy movement prediction. 63% accuracy. Enemy weakness analysis. 72% accuracy. Izuku smirked slightly. I can work with that. Meanwhile, Team Disaster's situation. Hatsum was trying to launch mini-rockets off his backpack. Mina was dancing around and nearly dropping him. Ibra was blocking attacks with her vines like a holy shield. Izuku yelled over the noise. Focus. Mina, movement support only. Ibra, defense perimeter 3 meters wide. Hatsum, stabilize the propulsion, we need a distraction, not self-destruction. They stared at him. Then, surprisingly, they listened. Mid-battle tactical play. A team from Class 1B bigger, heavier, aiming straight for them charged forward. Leader shouting. Get the 10 million. Izuku narrowed his eyes. He dropped low, yanking Mina's arm sharply and ordered. Left spin now. Mina pivoted perfectly, like a breakdancer, sending their entire team into a tight, sharp spin. Ibra whipped her vines outward like a rotating wall. Hatsum fired a mini smokescreen bomb to blind their opponents. The attacking team crashed headfirst into each other and ate turf. The crowd roared. Izuku's new use of One for All. In the middle of this chaos, Izuku felt the familiar buzz of One for All in his limbs. Not overwhelming. Just a light hum. I can't just smash everything like All Might. I need precision. He breathed carefully. Instead of surging all at once, he directed tiny bursts of power to his legs, his hands, his core, based on what he needed. Controlled. Focused. Microboost. System message. Microboost technique unlocked. Plus 15% agility boost. Plus 10% control. Plus embarrassing amount of style. Style. Izuku thought, horrified. System comment. Gotta look cool for the ladies. Degree. I hate you so much. Izuku internally screamed again. But the results didn't lie. His movements were faster. His dodges were cleaner. His positioning was lethal. Suddenly they were a threat. Other teams started noticing. They're good, watch out. How is Midoriya moving like that? That green-haired nerd's leading a death squad. Scene. Izuku commanding like a general. Izuku pointed. Intercept right flank 5 seconds. Mina zipped in, her acid creating slick spots to trip enemies. Izuku shouted. Vertical vines now. Ibra launched thorned walls into the air, blocking aerial attacks. Hatsum laughed maniacally, launching mini-gliders that spun opponents away. It was chaos. It was insane. It was genius. And somehow, they were climbing the rankings fast. Mini-scene, audience reaction. Present. Look at that, folks. Midoriya's team is absolute mayhem out there. Izawa, Dipen. Typical Midoriya. Turning a mess into an advantage. Midnight, smiling with interest. Tactical. And cute. Might have to invite him for special training after this. End of chapter cliffhanger. In the last 30 seconds, Midoriya locked eyes across the battlefield with Shoto Todoroki. Todoroki's team was charging straight for him. Icy mist rising. Tension thick. Izuku cracked his knuckles lightly, electricity sparking at his fingertips. Come on then, Todoroki. Let's dance. The battlefield final minute of the cavalry battle. The air turned cold. Literally. A thin layer of ice mist rolled across the arena. Midoriya's eyes narrowed as Todoroki Shoto, standing atop his team, pointed straight at him. Todoroki come. Midoriya. I'm coming for you. Izuku's thoughts. So dramatic. He sighed dramatically, brushing some smoke off his sleeve from Hatsume's latest gadget misfire. Then, without thinking, he said out loud. Izuku, deadpan. Oh no, anyway. His entire team choked at once. System alert, SAS detected. Congratulations. You have unlocked Snarky Comeback LV-1. System comment. Whoa there, Captain Savage. Maybe slow down before you get smacked into next week? Or not, it's fun to watch. Izuku flushed slightly but smirked anyway. For once he felt good firing back. Todoroki's reaction. Todoroki blinked. A tiny, almost invisible, twitch pulled at the corner of his mouth. Was he almost smiling? Midoriya's command mode full tactical. Team, formation delta. Izuku snapped. Instantly. Mina slid sideways, creating acid patches as landmines. Ibara anchored vines into the ground, building tripwires. Hatsume deployed mini-drones overhead for aerial interference. Izuku lowered his center of gravity, tiny pops of energy crackling around his boots from microboosts. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was warfare. Todoroki's team attacks. A massive surge of ice flooded toward them. Izuku snapped his fingers. Mina, counter left. Ibara, redirect vertical. Mina kicked the ice into mist with an acid splash. Ibara threw vines that anchored onto broken chunks, building barriers. Todoroki's ice slowed hesitated cracked. Izuku grinned. You can't just overwhelm me with brute force anymore, Todoroki. Mini-scene, watching from the sidelines. Momo Yaoyorozu watched, stunned. He's reading Todoroki's attack patterns, she said, voice almost awed. Even Aizawa squinted slightly. He's not just strong. He's adapting mid-battle. Midnight liked her lips thoughtfully. Smart and scrappy. I think I need to keep an extra eye on young Midoriya. Elsewhere, a few female students in the stands suddenly found themselves weirdly invested in this green-haired nerd. Final clash Todoroki versus Midoriya. Both teams charged. Shards of ice and explosions collided. Mina's acid shimmered. Hatsume's drones buzzed wildly. Ibara's vines lashed out like whips. At the center of it Midoriya and Todoroki locked eyes. And when Todoroki unleashed a final massive ice wall, Izuku didn't hesitate. He launched forward, using controlled bursts of one for all in tiny microboosts, dancing around the frozen spikes with breathtaking precision. At the last second, Izuku grabbed one of Hatsume's gadgets, a mini-shield launcher, and catapulted a vine-wrapped projectile straight at Todoroki's headband. FWIP. Todoroki reached to block too slow. Izuku snatched the 10 million point headband clean. The stadium exploded into cheers. Final system comment. System message. You have successfully robbed an ice prince. New title earned. Tactical thief. System tease. You slick little goblin, I'm so proud. Izuku, panting and flushed, couldn't help but grin wide and wild. For the first time, he wasn't just catching up to the elite. He was leading them. Immediately after the cavalry battle locker rooms, Izuku walked off the field clutching the 10 million headband, heart hammering. Every few steps someone from Class 1A or 1B would either stare at him like he'd grown a second head, whisper, "Did you see that?" Or, in Bakugo's case, glare murderously from across the hall. Quick reactions. Kirishima clapped him on the back so hard Izuku stumbled. Bro, that was manly as hell. Mina winked, ruffling his hair like he was a dog. You're officially cool now, Midoriya. Congrats. Todoroki stopped in front of him dead serious. Everyone went silent. Todoroki calmly, "That you're strong. I'll beat you next time." Izuku without thinking. "You can try." Crowd reaction. Mina gasped loudly. Uraraka dropped her water bottle. Momo blinked so fast she looked like a broken printer. System alert. Spicy response detected. System comment. Well, Mr. Midoriya. Someone grew a spine overnight. Should I book you a therapist now or later when Todoroki freezes your soul? Todoroki's reaction, he just smirked slightly. A real one. Then turned and walked off without a word, leaving everyone else staring at Izuku like he was some mythical beast. Izuku's internal panic. Why did I say that? I'm not cool. I'm a disaster in green pants. But on the outside he managed to keep a tiny smirk. Cool level plus. Meanwhile, up in the stands, from where the pro heroes were watching, several reactions happened simultaneously. Midnight, oh, spicy, I like him. Mirko, leaning forward, arms crossed, gutsy kid. Respect. Ryukyu, smiling softly, not just guts. Smart too. Midoriya, completely oblivious, had just attracted the attention of several top heroes. And a few cute upperclassmen watching from the hero course side, whispering to each other. Chaos backstage. As they all headed to the break room before the next event, things only got worse for poor Midoriya. Mina kept hanging off his shoulder like a proud mom. Uraraka kept glancing at him, cheeks pink. Even Mei Hatsum kept tugging on his sleeve, talking about building them a custom hero rig together, while standing way too close. Izuku was about to combust. System message, fluster level, 88%. Warning, dangerously close to turning into a squeaky tomato. System comment, would you like me to initiate emergency trip and fall into girls' arms protocol? YN. Izuku, mentally screaming. No. System, lame. Bakugo finally snapped. That's it. He stomped across the room, murder in his eyes. You think you're hot stuff now, huh? Smirking at Todoroki? Flirting with Pinky and Gravity Girl? Wearing that stupid smug face. Izuku, finally regaining a shred of his brain, raised an eyebrow and said dryly. Izuku, sassy. Well, when you put it like that, I do sound kinda impressive. Everyone within earshot. GSP. Bakugo literally detonated his palm in rage. Izuku getting chased around the locker room by a furious Bakugo. Mina laughing so hard she's crying. Ida yelling, this is highly inappropriate conduct. Todoroki watching with mild confusion like he's seeing a National Geographic documentary. And the system simply laughing and throwing popcorn emojis into Izuku's mental view. UA Sports Festival Tournament stage. The arena hummed with excitement. First match. Izuku Midoriya vs Hitoshi Shinso. Midoriya's mind. No one here knows. No one knows where my power came from. I have to fight like me, not like All Might. He stood tall, shoulders relaxed, green lightning barely sparking around his boots. Small, controlled flickers almost unnoticeable. System comment. Good boy. No Super Saiyan cosplay today. Keep it humble. Izuku almost cracked a smile. Across the field, Shinso. Purple hair messy, hands stuffed into his pockets. Steady. But his eyes were sharp like a wolf watching prey. Midnight's voice echoed. Ready. Begin. Instant pressure. Izuku did not rush blindly. He moved carefully, pacing forward like a panther, coiled and ready. Shinso immediately opened his mouth to attack the mind, not the body. Shinso sharp. What's it like? Being handed everything at the last second? Born lucky after all? A low, bitter tone. Izuku bit his tongue. He couldn't afford a slip. One wrong word and he would be a puppet. System warning, verbal landmines ahead. Zip it, nerd. Movement battle. Instead of answering, Midoriya sprinted, a clean, balanced movement boosted slightly by controlled bursts from his legs. Tiny flashes of power pulsed at his calves, but nowhere near All Might's explosive bursts. Still fast. Still lethal. But subtle. Tactical clash. Shinso sidestepped. Izuku tracked. Quick jabs and sweeps to test defenses. Shinso, not a trained fighter, stayed on the defensive, slipping, evading, waiting for a verbal opening. Shinso kept talking, taunting. You don't belong here. They're just pretending you're special. Even All Might can't save a loser. Those words hit like knives. Izuku flinched internally. But the system yelled. System, simp detected. Don't fall for word traps. Resist. He almost barked a laugh but swallowed it down and countered. Decisive moment. Shinso lunged, suddenly grabbing at Midoriya's wrist, hoping to force a gasp, a reflexive, hey, or what? Anything to trigger his quirk. But Izuku's instincts were sharper. He dropped low, pivoted, and threw Shinso with a brutal over-shoulder slam. Slam. Dust kicked up. The crowd roared. No flashy moves. No superhuman roars. No breaking the floor. Izuku beat Shinso with tactics, timing, willpower, not raw strength. Midnight's countdown. Winner, Izuku Midoriya. Silent victory. Izuku stood up slowly, brushing dirt from his uniform. The whispers around the stadium started. Midoriya? He's good. Real good. What is his quirk, exactly? Something with speed boosts? Reinforcement? Weird that nobody knows. But not a single person connected it to All Might. They just thought he was some late-blooming powerhouse with a strange mutation. After the match, Izuku reached down and offered Shinso his hand, the unspoken "I get you" handshake. Shinso hesitated, then gripped it. Rough, tight. A bond forged in sweat and struggle. No pity, just respect. Meanwhile, hidden in the stands, All Might watched from the VIP section. He smiled faintly, hand tightening over his heart. You're doing it, young Midoriya. You're making that power yours. System comment, smirking. Secret Agent Midoriya, mission success. Next, charm a girl, win a trophy, and punch destiny in the face. Izuku. Seriously? System, oh, it gets worse. Wait till you see your next opponent. UA Sports Festival second round match. Izuku Midoriya vs. Shoto Todoroki. The arena was heavy with silence. Todoroki stood across the field, arms relaxed, expression blank. Steam rolled off his left side, tiny wisps of heat escaping like pressure leaks. Izuku exhaled slowly. He's serious. He's not just strong, he's calculated. Flashback to before match. In the waiting room, Todoroki had approached him. Shoto calm, chilling. I will beat you. You're strong. But you're in my way. Izuku's reply, calm but a little bit of sass. You can try, pretty boy. System screeching. Who gave you permission to be sassy? Wait, I'm so proud? Izuku. Shut up. He blushed faintly. Match begins. Midnight's voice snapped. Ready. Begin. Todoroki moved instantly. An explosion of ice surged across the ground, sharp, jagged spears racing at Midoriya's feet. But Izuku was faster. A mini boost to the left. A leap over a spike. A shoulder roll, barely dodging a frozen blade that would have taken off his foot. Tactical mode, online. Izuku's thought process. He aims to corner me. Box me in. Push me toward the walls. Less mobility. I need open space. Make him waste energy. Izuku countered smart. Never moving in straight lines. Forcing Todoroki to constantly readjust his aim. Quick punches against the ground to shatter smaller ice patches, creating uneven footing. Spectators' reactions. Midoriya's reading him like a book. Is he a combat strategist? He's not even using overwhelming power, just outplaying. Todoroki frowned slightly. His attacks became sharper. More brutal. A wall of ice exploded upward, but Izuku predicted it. He boosted over it, kicking off the side to launch himself at Todoroki's exposed side. First real clash. Izuku's fist skimmed Todoroki's shoulder. Enough to crack the ice armor forming there. Todoroki skidded back, surprised. Todoroki's thought, internal. He's different. Not reckless like Bakugo. Not arrogant like others. He's terrifyingly precise. System gremlin moment, during fight. System. Tactical nerd powers activate. Now hit him with the Uno reverse card. Izuku, internally groaning. You are not helping. Mid-fight escalation. Todoroki clenched his fists. And the fireside flared for a second. The whole stadium gasped. But Todoroki quickly cut it off, rage flickering behind his eyes. Izuku caught it. He realized Todoroki was rejecting half of himself. Izuku's mind. He's fighting with half his strength. Because of pride. Because of his father. Sassy Izuku moment, couldn't resist. In the middle of dodging another ice spike, Izuku called out, grinning. Izuku, loud enough for only Todoroki to hear. Hey, Frostbite Prince, you know you're allowed to use the warm side, right? Todoroki's eyes narrowed. He clenched his fists even harder, heat leaking from his left side uncontrollably. Final clash. I shot. Izuku ducked, rolled, and countered with a hard right hook to Todoroki's ribs. Not enough to break but enough to stun. Todoroki gasped and fire exploded outward in a massive wave. Midoriya boosted backward instantly, skating across the broken ice field, barely avoiding a burn. Standing across from each other. Both boys breathing heavily. Both marked by the battle. Neither backing down. Midnight raised her arm. Time. Result. Draw by stalemate. Both fighters advanced to semifinals by points earned. The crowd lost their minds. Post-battle moments. Todoroki bowed slightly to Midoriya, stiff, but respectful. Midoriya nodded back, face bruised, arms trembling slightly, but grinning like a lunatic. System. That's my boy. Tactical Chaos Gremlin, first of his name. After the match, Mei Hatsum cornered him. Mei, grinning brightly. Hey, Midoriya-kun. You move really well under pressure. You'd be perfect for testing my new jet boots. Oh, and maybe we should, go out for tea after you win the whole tournament. Izuku, redder than Endeavor's flames. B-boots. I am tea. System, snickering. The whole Nerd.exe has stopped responding. Final private moment, All Might plus Izuku. Later, hidden behind the stadium. Under a quiet, shaded corridor. All Might approached. Still in his skinny form, wearing a hoodie and hat. He smiled, tired but proud. All Might quietly. You're doing better than I ever hoped, young Midoriya. Izuku, soft, a little overwhelmed. I'm just doing my best, All Might. All Might placed a hand on his shoulder. All Might, serious. You're not just carrying my power. You're making it yours. A beat of silence. For just a moment, All Might pulled him into a brief, proud hug. A silent, heavy I'm proud of you, son kind of hug. System, whispering, respectful for once. Good job, kid. You deserve this. UA Sports Festival Semi-Final Match 1. Izuku Midoriya vs. Ibara Shizuki, Vine Hero, Maria. Midoriya's thought process, entering field. Focus. Limited range. Probably tries to bind me. Weakness, fire, mobility, rapid strikes. System. Tactical mode activated. Permission to deploy, witty comebacks subroutine. Izuku, sighing internally. No. Shut up. Across the field. Ibara Shizuki stood calm, prayerful, vines curling gently around her shoulders. She looked almost peaceful. But Izuku wasn't fooled. Midnight's whip cracked. Begin. Vincent Fissel. Vines lashed out like snakes. Izuku backflipped away, using tiny bursts of energy to stay light on his feet. He wasn't just dodging. He was analyzing. Observation. Her vines tracked movement, not sound. They were stronger when rooted into the ground. If he kept moving and broke the ground, he could weaken her. Izuku's counterplan. Stay mobile. Force her to overextend. Shatter her anchor points with focused, low-powered strikes. Execution. He zipped in close. Faked left. Smashed the ground near her vines. Vines snapped like rubber bands. Ibara blinked, momentarily stunned. Izuku didn't hesitate. A clean, non-lethal tackle sent her sprawling out of bounds before she could react. Victory. Izuku Midoriya advances to finals. Crowd reaction. He's like a chess master out there. No wasted movement. He's making it look easy. Girls' reaction danger zone expanding. Mei Hatsum, screaming from stands. Marry me, Midoriya. Momo Yaoyorozu, blushing behind her hands. He's so strategic. Mina Ishido, elbowing Gyre. Why is that kind of brain power kinda hot? Hiko Uraraka, heart thumping wildly. Midoriya, you're amazing. System, chaotic little gremlin. Warning. You have entered the flustered chick magnet zone. Evacuation not possible. Good luck, nerd. Izuku, panicking internally. Abort mission, abort, abort, abort. Meanwhile, Todoroki vs. Bakugo semifinal. Their match was brutal. Bakugo barely beat Todoroki, forcing him to use both ice and fire by sheer overwhelming aggression. Bakugo advanced, furious. Eyes locked on Midoriya. Finals announced. Izuku Midoriya vs. Katsuki Bakugo. The stage. Izuku leaned against a wall, breathing steady. The system, sensing his tension, offered rare genuine advice. System calmer. Don't lose yourself in his fire. Win your way, not his way. Izuku smiled faintly. Yeah. My way. Unexpected visitor, Mei Hatsum. She burst into the hallway, goggles pushed up, hands full of gadgets. Hey boyfriend. Catch. She chucked a small device at him, a tiny lightweight shield attachment for his forearm. Izuku, catching it awkwardly. Boyfriend? System, cry laughing. And so it begins. Mei, grinning no shame. Hey, a genius like you deserves good gear. And maybe a dinner date later if you win. Izuku, so red he could rival a tomato. Aye. Mei just winked and bolted, leaving Izuku standing there, shield in hand, brain completely fried. Final match walking into the arena. The crowd roared louder than ever. 2 boys. 2 forces. 1 fight. Cross the field, Bakugo. Seething. Grinning savagely. Explosions popping in his palms. Midnight's voice boomed. Final match, begin. UA Sports Festival Finals. Izuku Midoriya vs. Katsuki Bakugo. The tension in the stadium was so thick it could be cut with a knife. Bakugo was practically vibrating with rage, small explosions popping off his palms. Across from him, Izuku stood relaxed. Hands loose. Expression unreadable. Eyes sharp like daggers. Izuku's thought process. Bakugo's strength lies in aggression. He's an explosive, forward-moving storm. But storms are predictable. System, soft ping. Analyzing opponent. Plan Omega activated. Break the boom boy's brain. Izuku, smirking faintly. Let's go then. Midnight's whip cracked the air. Final match begin. Bakugo exploded forward. Right hook laced with nitroglycerin. Instant speed blitz. Izuku didn't move. He waited until the last possible second. Then sidestepped like he was dodging a drunk guy at a party. Bakugo's punch missed wildly. He stumbled slightly unbalanced. Izuku, out loud, smirking. All that noise. And no aim, Kaken? The crowd. Ooh. Midoriya's taunting him? He's not even fighting back, he's dismantling him. Bakugo raged. He unleashed a giant explosion toward the ground to launch himself upward, trying to rain destruction from above. Izuku analyzed mid-move. His aerial control is good, but not perfect. He's vulnerable in midair. Counter. Izuku boosted slightly upward, meeting Bakugo halfway, and grabbed his wrist mid-explosion. Using Bakugo's own momentum against him, Izuku whipped him downward in a brutal judo throw onto the arena floor. Dust exploded upward. Izawa, watching silently. He didn't just outmuscle him. He outmaneuvered him. Midoriya, you're evolving fast. Bakugo, growling, furious, scrambling to his feet. Stop looking down on me, damn it. Izuku, tilting his head, voice cold but almost pitying. I'm not looking down on you, Kaken. He raised his hands slightly loose, ready. I'm just looking past you. Oh my god. Midoriya just disrespected him into the next dimension. Someone check on Bakugo's pride, it's dead. System, in all low whisper. Holy is it, you're terrifying. Bakugo charged again. Raging. Not thinking, just reacting. Izuku saw it coming like a slow-motion movie. Every movement predictable. Every explosion sloppy. Izuku's tactical execution. Dodge left. Trip his footing. Redirect his blast backward. Blind his line of sight with dust. Bakugo started fighting himself without even realizing it. Izuku's final play. Bakugo lunged desperately. Only for Izuku to step inside his guard and place 2 fingers against his chest. Izuku, quiet, final. Checkmate. Light boost. A mini shockwave blew Bakugo off his feet. Not even needing to hurt him. Just enough to tip him backward. Where he slammed into the ground, stunned, arms splayed wide. Midnight stunned, then raising her arm. Bakugo knocked out of bounds. Izuku Midoriya wins the UA Sports Festival. Stadium erupts. Cheering. Screaming. Chanting his name. Du. Reactions. All might, emotional, whispering. You didn't just inherit my strength, kid. You're building your own legend. Izawa, stoic but proud. Not bad, problem child. Not bad at all. Meanwhile Bakugo, lying on the ground, staring at the sky. Broken. Confused. Not by physical pain, but by the realization. Midoriya. He surpassed me. Post-match private moment. As Izuku was led backstage for awards, the system suddenly grew very, very quiet. Izuku, sensing the mood. System? You okay? System, serious for once. Yeah. I'm just proud of you, kid. The beat. System, softly. Today, you didn't need power to win. You won because you became power. Izuku, quietly smiling to himself. Thanks, partner. The system, half teasing, half sincere. Now don't get cocky, nerd. I'm still better looking than you. Izuku, laughing, bruised, tired, but happy. Yeah. Whatever you say. The dust had barely settled on the UA Sports Festival. Izuku, still bruised but riding the high of victory, barely had time to breathe before he was pulled into the swarm of scouts. Teacher's Lounge, temporary headquarters. A massive screen displayed Midoriya's matches. Agency after agency had their eyes locked onto one name. Izuku Midoriya. He's brilliant tactically. Did you see how he dismantled Bakugo without even using raw power? Sign him immediately. That brain is more dangerous than half of our current heroes' quirks. Meanwhile, in the hallways, Izuku trudged along, half exhausted, half hiding from pro-hero recruiters literally trying to tackle him. The system useless, as always, was having the time of its life. System, gremlin cackle. Run, nerd, run. You're famous now. Izuku, grumbling. You're supposed to help me, not live stream my suffering. Encounter, Shoto Todoroki. Around a corner. Cool air swept through the hall. Standing there was Shoto Todoroki, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Shoto, flatly. You fought differently against Bakugo. Izuku shrugging casually. I fight smarter. Not harder. He offered a small, smug smile that had absolutely no right being that cocky on his still healing face. Shoto, stepping closer. You didn't use full power against me. His mismatched eyes burned into Izuku's soul, intense, almost challenging. Izuku meeting his gaze, cool as ice. You didn't either. A beat of silence. The tension between them was almost visible, crackling like a live wire. Shoto, after a moment, smirking faintly. I look forward to next time, Midoriya. He turned and walked away. But there was a respect there that hadn't existed before. Maybe even a new rivalry forged in the fires of tactical warfare. System, snickering. Is it just me, or did the Ice Prince just kind of flirt with you, boss? Izuku, mortified. That's not flirting. Right. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Somewhere across the stadium, 2 girls were watching the green-haired tactician very closely. Momo Yaoyorozu adjusted her jacket slightly, her face lightly flushed. Midoriya-san, he's incredible under pressure. Beside her, Mina Ishido grinned mischievously. Momo, you're staring awfully hard. You sure you're not about to start a study group with him? Momo sputtered, embarrassed, but she didn't deny it. Others noticed too. The subtle shift in how Midoriya was viewed. Not a sidekick. Not a side character. A rising star. Nightfall dorms. Later that evening, after dodging about 12 agency invitations and escaping an impromptu Midoriya fan club forming, Izuku collapsed onto his bed. System mocked solemnly. You've ascended, boss. King of simps. Emperor of tactical sass. Protector of green hair. Izuku, groaning into his pillow. Why are you like this? But deep inside, a seed had been planted. A new era had begun. And Izuku Midoriya was no longer just Deku. He was something else now. A symbol in his own right. The morning after the festival felt surreal. Izuku walked into homeroom, dodging more looks, more whispers, and about 3 spontaneous high fives from classmates who usually forgot he existed. He slumped into his seat, blinking sluggishly. System, my concern. Boss. Are you okay? You're acting like a tired potato. Izuku, deadpan. I am a tired potato. The system gasped. Actual, honest-to-God gasp. You're learning from me. Homeroom. Aizawa stood at the front, looking half dead as usual, wrapped tightly in his capture scarf like a very angry burrito. Without preamble, he clicked a remote. The projector lit up the screen behind him, revealing a giant spreadsheet. Offers received. Some students got a few offers. Some got dozens. And then, Midoriya, Izuku, 372 offers. The room went silent. Like, dead silent. Like even the air molecules gave up trying to move. Kirishima, gaping. Bro! You're like top of the food chain now. Mina, elbowing Momo slyly. Momo, your crush just went platinum. Momo's entire face turned scarlet red. She desperately tried to pretend the ceiling was fascinating. Peeked sideways at Izuku, fidgeting slightly, cheeks pink. Midoriya-kuns. Amazing. Izawa, monotone. Congratulations. You have roughly the number of agencies offering to adopt a small country. You'll all be choosing where you intern next. He clicked the screen again, handing out packets. Izuku's packet was about 2 inches thick. The system whistled. System, that's not an internship list. That's a harem application. Izuku, with absolutely zero hesitation. Guess I'm popular. Must be the hair. The system froze. A genuine, stunned silence. System, whispering, awestruck. You sassed first. Izuku grinned. Wicked. Smooth. Playful. Izuku. What's wrong? Cat got your processor? System, dramatic crying noises. My baby's all grown up. You're evolving into a smartass. Cue digital sobbing in the background. Izuku chuckled under his breath, flipping casually through the offers like a man on a throne of victory. Meanwhile, across the room, a group of girls, Mina, Momo, Jairu, and even Hagakure, invisibly, were all glancing at him from time to time, whispering and giggling. It wasn't just admiration anymore. It was intrigue. Mina, teasing. Bet Midoriya could start his own hero agency and we'd all join. Momo, sputtering. That's not appropriate to say. Smirking. Honestly though? I'd sign up. Guys got serious commander energy now. Lunch break. Izuku sat outside under a tree, eating in peace. For about 3 seconds before a figure flopped down next to him. Mina. Bright grin, practically radiating mischief. So, Midoriya. He looked at her warily mid-bite. You ever think about starting a fan club? Asking for a friend. That friend is me. Izuku, without missing a beat, sass dial cranked to max. Depends. Would you be president or vice president? Mina, beaming. Both. And treasurer. And secretary. System, softly, emotionally. My child. My wonderful, sarcastic warlord. Izuku, grinning. Next step, tactical world domination. And for one beautiful, chaotic afternoon, there was no darkness, no villains lurking, only laughter, opportunity, and a new green tactician ready to rise even higher. After 2 whole days of poring over internship offers, Izuku still hadn't picked one. His classmates were buzzing about where they'd go. Yaoyorozu aiming for a top strategist agency, Todoroki already fielding cold invitations from prestigious pros. Izuku though? He kept flipping his options with a frown. None of these felt right. System, cheerful but firm. You're stalling, boss. You can't just pick based on which logo is coolest. Izuku, grumbling. I need somewhere that'll actually help me with one for all, not just parade me around. Just then Aizawa approached. Midoriya. Someone left a personal request for you. He handed over a single, small envelope, not an agency flyer. The name on the front? Gran Torino. Gran Torino? Wait, the guy All Might mentioned? System, eyes widening. Yup, that's Sensei. Izuku, serious now. Then, this is fate, isn't it? He filled out the paperwork that afternoon, officially choosing Gran Torino. The second he turned it in, something changed in the air. Like a lock turning in a massive invisible door. Later, USJ dorms. Packing his bag for the internship, Izuku felt strangely nervous. The system, normally a little gremlin, was surprisingly gentle. System, softly. You're scared. It's okay to be scared. But trust me, you're ready. Izuku, half smiling. Even if I mess up? System. Especially then. You learn faster than anyone else. For once, it wasn't a sarcastic jab or a teasing poke. It was just real, unconditional faith. Train ride to Gran Torino City. Izuku sat by the window, watching the scenery blur by. System, light teasing. Don't trip walking into his house, boss. Izuku, smirking. Please. I'm a professional now. System, mock gasp. Who are you and what have you done with my awkward son? Izuku laughed out loud, drawing a few curious looks from passengers. Arrival, Gran Torino's home. He knocked nervously. The door creaked open. And there stood a wrinkled, tiny old man covered in microwave meals and wearing an ancient hero costume. Gran Torino, wheezing chuckle. You're the kid Toshinori sent? Hope you're not as stupid as he was at your age. Izuku stiffened. System, in his head, absolutely losing it. He just called All Might dumb to your face. Izuku, internally screaming, outwardly bowing politely. I'll do my best, sir. Training begins. Gran Torino wasted no time. He pounced. Literally. Izuku had to dodge, roll, and scramble to not get kicked across the living room. System, frantic, laughing. Move, you're gonna die to a grandpa. Through dizzying practice, Gran Torino's lesson became clear. You're thinking about it too much. You have to feel it. Move with it. Make it instinct. That night, after surviving, Izuku collapsed onto the floor, panting hard. His hands glowed faintly with power. System quietly, proudly. You're getting it, boss. Little by little. You're sinking with one for all. Izuku, smiling tiredly. Thanks for not letting me give up. System, sassy but affectionate. I mean, sure, I thought about installing a coward mode app. But nah. You're too cool for that now. Izuku chuckled. Underneath the exhaustion. Underneath the bruises. There was hope. There was growth. There was power waking up. Izuku Midoriya had survived his first day under Gran Torino. Barely. Day 2 began with Gran Torino standing atop the couch, arms crossed, staring Izuku down like a hawk. Gran Torino, gruff. You're locking up again, kid. Stop treating the power like it's a time bomb. Izuku, frustrated. If I use it wrong, it could still hurt my body. Gran Torino sighed. He didn't yell. He didn't even look angry. Disappointed. Gran Torino, calmly. You want to be a symbol? You have to trust your body. Not think about breaking, but about moving. Training, physical drills. Gran Torino attacked relentlessly, forcing Izuku to dodge, react, and move without overthinking. At first, Izuku stumbled, tripped, hesitated. System, internally. Breathe, boss. Think less about surviving. Think about dancing. The moment that changed everything. A kick came faster than Izuku's eye could track. Instinct raw and wild kicked in. Power flooded his limbs. Not all at once. Not explosively. Just enough. His muscles lit up, flowing with energy like a current. Izuku zipped sideways with a blur of green lightning. Gran Torino, grinning like a maniac. Now you're getting Udaman brat. System, losing its mind. Full cowling unlocked. Let's go. Izuku, panting, but smiling wide. It didn't hurt. Gran Torino. Because you finally respected the power. Not fought it. Laying on a futon, bruised and battered, Izuku stared at the ceiling. System, softly. Proud of you, boss. Izuku quiet. It's not enough yet. There's still so much more to do. He flexed his hand. Tiny crackles of green lightning dancing across his skin. System, teasing. Don't worry. We'll get you to shockingly cool hero levels by next week. Meanwhile, across Hosu City, unbeknownst to Izuku, chaos was brewing. A certain vigilante, Stain, the hero killer, was moving. Others darker ones whispered in the alleys. But that wasn't Izuku's concern yet. Right now, he had one mission. Master one for all. Control it. Become the hero he promised All Might he would be. Night fell hard over Hosu City. Izuku Midoriya stood by the window of Gran Torino's small apartment, feeling a growing unease prick at the back of his neck. System, low, serious tone. Warning bells, boss. Something's wrong tonight. And then it happened. A violent explosion shattered the stillness. A distant train derailment shook the city. Gran Torino moved faster than thought. Stay here, kid. But Izuku? Izuku ran toward the chaos. System, warning. Be smart, boss. You're not invincible yet. Izuku, gritting his teeth. I'm not running away either. As he bounded across rooftops, Izuku's phone buzzed. A message from Ida. A single location pin dropped on the map. System, sharp. Hosu back alleys. No time to hesitate. Meanwhile, Hosu alleyways. Ida Tenya stood face to face with Stain, the hero killer. His brother's attacker. His body screamed to run, but rage rooted him in place. Stain, come cold. You're no hero. Just a selfish child playing justice. The first slash came fast. Ida barely blocked it, but he was outclassed. Badly. Izuku arrives. Green lightning burst through the alley as Izuku landed hard, cracking the ground under his feet. Stain's eyes narrowed. Another pest. System, rapid fire. Analyze. Short swords. Paralysis quirk via blood. Overwhelming close quarters expert. Do not get cut. Izuku stealing himself. Understood. Stain, grinning slightly. You're different from the last one. You've got Diaspilin. Without warning, Stain lunged. Combat begins. Izuku activated full cowling instantly, energy sparking off him in violent flickers. 10% power. He moved just in time, Stain's blade slicing the air inches from his throat. Izuku didn't just dodge. He redirected Stain's momentum, using his footwork to twist around and launch a calculated counterstrike. A heavy punch aimed to stun, not kill. System, approving. Perfect angle. Force him to expose his side. Stain blocked but stumbled slightly. Izuku's mind raced. I can't beat him head-on. I have to outthink him. He feinted left. Then sprung off a wall behind him, twisting midair to deliver a sharp kick. Stain blocked again, but grunted this time. He was feeling it. Ida, panting, shocked. Midoriya. Before Stain could recover, another figure shot into the alley. A trail of ice followed his boots. Todoroki Shoto. Todoroki, calm, focused. Backup has arrived. Battlefield shift. Now a triangle. Izuku harassing with speed and feints. Todoroki using precise ice blasts to block Stain's movements. Ida recovering, readying himself. System, tactical mode. plan suggestion, herd him toward a dead end. Izuku, grinning. On it. They worked like a unit. Not perfectly but tactically. Izuku baited Stain's attacks. Todoroki froze off the escape routes. Ida protected Todoroki's blind spots. Stain tried to cut Izuku. A shallow graze across his sleeve. But Izuku dodged back instantly, remembering the paralysis quirk. System, sharp warning. Blood exposure, minimal. Not infected. Move. Todoroki laid down thick walls of ice, slowing Stain. Izuku dashed around them like a green blur, forcing Stain into a tighter and tighter space. No freedom of movement, no victory. Final exchange. Stain roared and surged forward for a final attack. Izuku planted his feet, focused, and channeled full cowling through every muscle, not wildly, not violently but perfectly measured. A single punch. Focused at Stain's shoulder, not his face. Disarm. Disable. Don't kill. Stain's blade clattered to the ground. Todoroki followed up, freezing Stain's legs in a thick web of ice. Ida pinned him with his own strength, overcoming the fear and rage that had paralyzed him before. It was over. They had done it. Izuku stood there, panting, hands trembling slightly. System, softly. You did it, boss. You fought smarter. And you won. But victory was short-lived. From above, something monstrous stirred. One of the Nomu, bloodthirsty and howling, descended toward them. Izuku barely had time to move. But before it could strike, a blur of red, white, and blue smashed into the beast, sending it flying. All Might. He looked at Izuku with a fierce, proud smile. All Might booming. You held the line, young Midoriya. And in that moment, seeing his mentor, feeling the weight of his comrades beside him, Izuku Midoriya realized, this is what being a hero means. Not strength alone. Not rage. Not revenge. But standing even when afraid. Even when outmatched. Fighting not for yourself, but for others. Hosa City was still smoldering by the time the dust settled. The Nomu were defeated. Stain had been officially captured. But the real chaos? The paperwork. Izuku, Todoroki, and Ida sat stiffly in the Pro Heroes' temporary command center. Their uniforms were torn, their faces bruised, and their bodies aching. But the adrenaline had worn off, leaving nothing but heavy exhaustion and the realization of what they'd just done. A Pro Hero paced in front of them, clipboard in hand. Pro Hero sternly. You three operated without permission. You engaged a dangerous villain. You nearly got yourselves killed. There was a heavy pause. System, dryly. Gee, thanks, Officer Buskill. We'll add almost murdered to our resume. Izuku, barely restraining a smirk. Not now, not now. The Pro Hero sighed. And if you hadn't, more people would be dead tonight. He set the clipboard down. Good work. But officially? We'll say you assisted licensed heroes. Ida, bowing stiffly. Thank you for your leniency. Todoroki, stoic nod. Understood. Izuku, deadpan sass. Appreciated, officer. I'll be sure to accidentally assist again if needed. System, losing it internally. Boom. The sass is strong with this one. The Pro Hero gave him a long, suspicious look. Izuku smiled innocently. He absolutely was not innocent. Later that night, as they sat outside the hospital waiting for news about Native and the injured, a strange, thoughtful silence settled over the three of them. Ida quietly. Midoriya, Todoroki, thank you. I was blinded by revenge. If you hadn't come, Izuku, interrupting, casual sass. You would have been skewered like a bad shish kebab. Not a good look for a future CO hero. Ida choked. Todoroki actually coughed into his fist to hide a smirk. System, wheezing internally. Tactical sassing, level up. Izuku, more serious, smiling gently. We've got your back, Ida. Always. The stars above Hosu flickered faintly. The distant sounds of sirens faded. A small, simple moment of peace between battle-scarred boys who chose to stand for others. Returning to UA. Word had spread fast. Class 1A awaited them outside the dormitories, pretending they weren't loitering awkwardly. As Izuku approached bruised but upright, an immediate onslaught hit him. Uraraka, flushing red, worried. Deku, are you okay? You look like you fought a whole army. Mina Ishido, waving frantically. You're like a war hero now. Su, blinking. Karo very cool. Very reckless. Izuku scratched the back of his head awkwardly. Izuku, half grin, half sass. You know me. Can't even trip without saving a few lives on the way down. System, wheezing. Who gave you this level of confidence? Mina suddenly lunged forward and grabbed his hands. Mina, cheerful but weirdly close. You're way more badass than we thought, Midoriya. Izuku went bright red from hairline to collar. System, mockingly. Smooth, Casanova. Real smooth. First you break villains, now you're breaking hearts. Izuku, mentally screaming. Shut you up. Bakugo stood at the back of the crowd, arms crossed, scowling so hard it looked like his face might implode. Their eyes locked for a brief second. Bakugo, gritting his teeth. Teeth, show-off nerd. Izuku, casual shrug, pure sass. Sorry. Some of us multitask. System, stunned. Holy Essage, who are you and where is the stuttering potato I met? Even Aizawa, wrapped in his scarf like a very tired burrito, gave a slow blink of approval. Aizawa gruff. Not bad, problem child. Don't get cocky. Later, phone. Izuku stood on the dormitory balcony, staring into the dark night sky. All Might's voice echoed from earlier. You held the line, young Midoriya. The weight of it sank deeper now. This wasn't just a fluke. This was the beginning. The beginning of him truly becoming a hero. Not by copying someone else, but by being himself. System, quiet, warm. I'm proud of you, boss. Izuku, smiling, whispering back. I'm proud of me too. The green lightning sparked at his fingertips, tiny and steady. No explosions. No injuries. Just control. UA High buzzed like a hive under siege. The announcement had come down. Final exams. Written tests. Practical tests. Surprise twists. Everyone scrambled. Izuku sat calmly in his desk, tapping a pen lightly against his notebook. System, dramatic whisper. Final boss music intensifies. Kaminari was panicking 3 seats over. Kaminari, wailing. I'm dead. I'm gonna be expelled. I'll have to become a rock star or something. Izuku, without looking up, deadpan. You'd need a personality first. System, cackling. Oh my god, you just ended him. Kaminari clutched his chest like he'd been shot. Pikachu down. The written exam. The test hit hard: math, science, hero law, quirk theory. Students groaned. Izuku? He flipped through each section like he was idly reading a magazine. System, impressed. Tactical brain engaged, flawless. Izuku didn't just memorize. He analyzed. He saw patterns. Predicted question styles. Strategized time usage. By the end, he finished with 20 minutes to spare, leaned back, and started doodling battle formations in the margins. Aizawa, watching from the front, blinking slowly. Since when is this kid terrifying? The practical exam, plot twist. Aizawa addressed the class, voice dry as sandpaper. Your opponents won't just be robots this time. You'll be fighting us. The class exploded into chaos. Mina, horrified. You mean teachers? Ryuma, fainting dramatically. Nous allons mourir. System, rubbing metaphorical hands together. Oh boss. This is your throne. Time to go full Sun Tzu. Pairings were announced. Izuku blinked. I'm paired with Bakugo. System, gleeful gasp. Oh, this is going to be delicious chaos. Their opponent? All Might. System, softly. We might die. The strategy session. Bakugo immediately started screaming. Bakugo, furious. I'm not teaming up with Deku. I'll blast my own way through All Might. Izuku calmly, full sass. And I'll write, here lies Kaken, death by ego, on your tombstone. The room went silent. Bakugo looked like he might combust. Even Aizawa blinked from where he was watching on camera. System, snickering. Lethal SAS shot confirmed. Target critically wounded. But Izuku stood firm. He planted his feet, voice sharp but cool. You can't beat All Might in a straight fight. We can't win by attacking. We win by outmaneuvering. By making him waste energy. By using the field. Bakugo, gritting his teeth. Teeth fine. Izuku, grinning slightly. Look at that. You can be reasoned with. System, boss. You are officially unstoppable. The exam fight. The cityscape training field loomed huge before them. Tension. All Might's laughter echoed like thunder. Come at me, young heroes. Bakugo immediately blasted forward. Izuku was ready. Using calculated paths, he herded Bakugo's blasts into collapsing parts of the environment, creating barriers. Not attacking All Might, but buying time. Bleeding him. Slowing him. All Might bulldozed through debris, but even he couldn't fight physics. Falling beams, narrowed alleys, deliberate choke points. Izuku orchestrated it all with precision. System, rapid feed. Next alley left. Trip wire ready. Force him to block sight lines. Izuku shouted directions to Bakugo mid-battle. And miraculously, Bakugo obeyed. While cursing the whole time. A flash of green lightning and controlled explosions tore through the fake city, dancing around the symbol of peace. All Might slowed. Even he, in his weakened state, was burning energy too fast. That was when Izuku sprang the final trap. A crumbling building collapsed behind them, cutting All Might off. Izuku and Bakugo sprinted through the gate. Victory. Tactical. Efficient. Brilliant. System, proud scream. Tactical supremacy, achieved. Standing there, breathing hard, Bakugo still looked furious. But he didn't say anything. Because deep down, he knew they would have lost without Izuku's brain. All Might grinning widely. Excellent work, Midoriya. You used strategy worthy of a top hero. Izuku just wiped sweat off his brow, exhausted but grinning. Izuku, sassy drawl. Told you. Brains and brawn both have their place. Even Aizawa, grumpy, half asleep, perpetually unimpressed, gave a slight nod. Welcome to real hero work. And in the system's interface, a new notice flashed brightly. New title unlocked. Tactical Genius. Skill boost, combat strategy plus 25%. Izuku Midoriya, the green tactician, had arrived. And he wasn't going anywhere. Final exams. The test of mind, body, and spirit. For Class 1A, it had turned into a battlefield. After Midoriya and Bakugo's stunning and frankly ridiculous victory against All Might, the rest of the class had stepped up to their exams. And the rumors had already started. Whispering. Midoriya actually planned every move. Kirishima thought. Dude fought All Might with strategy. Mina, smirking. I told you he's a secret badass. Even Todoroki, usually as unreadable as ice, watched Izuku more thoughtfully now. Todoroki, thinking. Midoriya. He's changed. No, he's revealing what was always there. Meanwhile, Izuku? He was currently sitting against a wall, watching the other fights on the monitors, notebook in hand, chewing on a pen. Calculating. Learning. System, odd whisper. You've gone full war general boss. I'm in tears. Literal tears. Observing. On screen, Todoroki and Yaoyorozu fought Aizawa. Aizawa was brutal. Efficient. Relentless. Yaoyorozu hesitated, but Todoroki glanced at the camera briefly, then back at his partner. Izuku saw it instantly. Izuku, muttering, half smirk. He's trying to make her lead. System, snorting. Look at you, reading people like open books. Sure enough, Yaoyorozu regrouped, built a solid plan, and together they escaped. Victory by brains, not just brawn. Aizawa, watching from the control booth, arms crossed. Midoriya's influence is spreading faster than expected. There was a flicker of pride in the man's tired eyes. Hidden under about 16 layers of exhaustion, but it was there. Later, standing before the teachers, Class 1A listened to their final exam results. Fis, fis, barely pass. And then, Midoriya and Bakugo, pass, high marks. The class erupted in murmurs. Kaminari looked like he might faint again. Kaminari, groaning. Midoriya's secretly a brainiac assassin. We're all dead. Mina, grinning, elbowing him. Called it. System, beaming. They finally fear respect you. Bakugo, grumbling lowly. It was a fluke. Izuku, sweet smile, lethal sass. Of course. Accidentally beating All Might. Happens to everyone. Bakugo visibly short-circuited. Kirishima coughed violently to hide his laughter. Even present Mike let out a strangled woo from the teacher's side. Aizawa half muttered to himself. He's going to be a nightmare for villains. Midnight, grinning. And a heartbreaker for the girls. Izuku, oblivious to that second comment, was too busy internally screaming as the system popped another notification. New skill, on-the-fly tactical adaptation. Boost to rapid analysis plus improvised strategy. System, proudly. You are a machine, boss. Izuku, mentally. I'm just trying not to trip and embarrass myself, honestly. Post-exams, down to. Class 1A collapsed around the common room. Everyone was exhausted. Mina flopped dramatically onto Izuku's lap without warning, arms spread like a fainting goat. Mina, groaning. Midoriya, save me. You're the class tactician now. Tactic me up some snacks. Izuku blushed to his ears, frozen. System, absolutely dying. Look at you. Lady killer. Yurarka, flushing, mumbling. Why, you did amazing, Deku. I'm really proud of you. Izuku, caught between blushing into another dimension and short-circuiting from too much praise, made the executive decision to sass back. Izuku, grinning. Guess I'll have to open a consulting business. Midoriya Tactical Solutions, saving your quirk and your snacks. System, howling. Sass overload. He's too powerful. The room burst into laughter. And for the first time in a long time, Izuku laughed too. Not nervously. Not hiding. But proud. And happy. The green tactician wasn't just surviving anymore. He was thriving. Summary of the chaos so far. Canon, preserved but enhanced. Izuku, evolving into the full hero tactician he's meant to be. Sass level, dangerous. System, proud gremlin. Class 1, slowly realizing Izuku might just be the scariest member of the class, in the best way. All Might smiled warmly at Izuku after class, handing him an envelope. Young Midoriya, I'd like you to accompany me to Island for a special event. Izuku, internally screaming. Play cool. Play cool. Play cool. Izuku, externally, smiling awkwardly. Of course, All Might. I'd be honored. System, screeching like a fan at a concert. We're going international, baby. Arriving at Island. Stepping onto the gleaming metal docks of Island, Izuku's mouth hung open slightly at the sight of the towering skyscrapers, endless tech displays, and bustling heroes from all over the world. Izuku awestruck. It's a tactical goldmine. System, snorting. You see battle plans. Normal people see souvenirs. All Might chuckled, patting his protege on the back hard enough to almost knock him over. Enjoy it, young Midoriya. You've earned it. Meeting Melissa Shield. Melissa bounced up to them with bright energy. Hi. You must be Midoriya. I'm Melissa. Izuku, nodding, slightly red. And Midoriya Izuku. It's an honor to meet you, Melissa-san. She smiled so brightly that Izuku blinked in surprise. System, teasing. Boss, you're a lady magnet. You're not even trying anymore. Melissa laughed. Come on. I'll show you around the expo. Izuku stumbled after her, trying not to freak out. Meanwhile, several Class 1A members, arriving separately to the expo, spotted him. Achiko, giggling. Deku's already making new friends. Mina, grinning wickedly. Someone's popular. Izuku tried very hard not to combust on the spot. The night of the gala and the attack begins. Everything was perfect. Until the security systems locked down. Until the villains took over. Sirens blared. Heroes trapped. Civilians panicking. Izuku's entire stance shifted. Eyes sharpened. Posture tightened. System, alert ping. Tactical mode, activated. Izuku calmly to the group. Okay. Priorities. Protect civilians. Locate the enemy. Retake the system. The others blinked, but immediately rallied around him. Momo, impressed, nodding. Agreed. I'll start creating tools. Todoroki, neutral but approving. Midoriya's plan is sound. Kirishima, grinning. Man, you're like a mini general. System, teasing. Mini? Please. Boss is a full-size nightmare to villains. Izuku quickly mapped their route through the skyscraper, setting up ambush points and safe retreat paths. We need to reach the top control room. But we can't fight head-on. Achiko, biting her lip. But what about the bad guys guarding every floor? Izuku, grinning a little wild. Good thing I packed Plan B. The assault up the tower. Floor by floor, they ascended. Izuku used debris to create choke points, funneling enemies into manageable zones. Combined quirks to create multi-layered attacks. Predicted enemy movements with scary accuracy. At one point, villain leader, shouting, "How are these kids winning?" Izuku, deadpan, shouting back. "Because you're using muscle. We're using brains." System, wiping a tear. They grow up so fast. When Bakugo and Todoroki worked together to blast open a particularly stubborn gate, Izuku calmly directed the next formation while dodging falling debris like it was a casual Tuesday. Mina, panting. Midoriya's a literal wizard. How is he still thinking straight? Izuku, sassy grin, charging ahead. Adrenaline. And pure spite. Final showdown. Izuku and All Might together. In the final moments, facing Wolfram and his monstrous quirk amplification, Izuku stood side by side with a wounded but smiling All Might. Their fists clenched. Their wills united. All Might gruff but proud. Young Midoriya. Let's show them what real heroes are made of. Together, they launched. Smashing through steel and force fields. Synchronized without even needing words. Tactic. Power. In the climactic double Detroit smash, Izuku felt the air crackle around him. He screamed from the depths of his heart, his mind clear. Izuku, roaring. This is our power. Wolfram fell. Victory, blazing and brilliant. System, quiet, emotional. Boss. You've become more than a tactician. You're a hero. Melissa rushed forward, throwing her arms around Izuku in a hug that lifted him slightly off the ground. Izuku, redder than All Might's costume, internally screaming. I am not ready for this level of human contact. System, laughing hysterically. Too late, boss. Accept your destiny. Ending. Fireworks and a promise. As fireworks exploded over Eye Island, lighting up the night sky, Izuku sat with his friends bruised, exhausted, but smiling wider than he ever had. All Might ruffled his hair proudly. You're walking your own path now, young Midoriya. And it's a path of greatness. Izuku quietly. I'll become someone people can count on. No matter what. The system, for once, didn't sass. It just buzzed quietly, a proud heartbeat in his mind. And so, the Green Tactician's legend grew even further. On a night of friendship, courage, and dreams for the future. Arrival at the training camp. The buses rumbled down winding roads into the forest. Class 1A buzzed with nervous excitement, talking about food, training, and the chance to finally stretch their quirks even further. Izuku, however, sat quietly in his seat. Notebook open. Eyes sharp. System, muttering like a coach. Stay sharp, boss. These training camps always have hidden agendas. Izuku, smirking slightly. Don't worry. I'm already planning 6 contingencies. System, proudly. That's my boy. When they arrived, the wild pussycats made their dramatic introduction. Pixie Bob and Mandalay flared their quirks. And the entire mountainside became an obstacle course of pure hell. Kirishima, panicked. We're gonna die. Izuku, grinning. We'll tactically suffer. System, giggling. That's our motto now. Surviving the mountain. Mud monsters. Sudden cliffs. Hidden pitfalls. Class 1A stumbled, fought, and screamed the whole way down. But Izuku? He adapted like it was second nature. When faced with multiple mud beasts, he redirected enemy attacks into each other. When a cliff collapsed, he predicted the safest jump points for his team. When dark trees loomed, he signaled quiet approach tactics to avoid wasting energy. Mina, pending to face. Midoriya's playing chess and I'm over here playing tag with death. Even Todoroki glanced over at him, his usual neutral expression tinged with admiration. At the base camp, when they finally collapsed into heaps of exhaustion, Mandalay smiled slightly, glancing at Aizawa. Mandalay quietly. That green-haired one. He's different. Aizawa, dryly proud under the layers. Midoriya's always been different. The world's just starting to notice. Training begins. The days that followed were pure grueling hell. Pushing quirks. Breaking limits. Every night the students collapsed into their sleeping bags like corpses. Except for one. Midoriya stayed awake longer, running battle simulations in his head. System, whispering dramatically. You're basically building a battle encyclopedia at this point. During strength training, Izuku wasn't just punching harder. He was learning how to optimize one-for-all's bursts more efficiently. Instead of wild attacks, controlled bursts, micro movements, precision over brute force. It was slow. It was exhausting. But every single punch made him sharper. The calm before the storm. One night, after a brutally hard day of training, Izuku sat by a campfire with a few classmates. Mina sneakily slid closer to him again, nudging his side with a wicked smirk. Mina, teasing. Hey, strategist. Got any plans for when the real bad guys show up? Izuku blinked, smirked a little, and replied without missing a beat. Izuku, grinning, sassy. Yeah. Step 1. Panic slightly. Step 2. Tactical annihilation. System. I'm so proud. You sass murdered half the campfire. The others around the fire howled with laughter. Even Todoroki let out a tiny, almost invisible chuckle. Unseen by most, Aizawa leaned against a tree nearby, eyes half-lidded but alert. He didn't miss the way Izuku was subtly positioning the group into smarter formation patterns. Even during casual downtime, Aizawa, thinking, when the real fight comes, Midoriya won't just survive. He'll lead. Deep in the forest, the villains move. And in the dark forest beyond the camp, a different scene unfolded. Dabi stood in the gloom, his stitched smile eerie under the moonlight. Toga twirled a knife between her fingers. Dabi, gravelly. They said Class 1A had potential. But they didn't say one of them was a tactician. Toga, giggling. I want to cut him, he looks fun. From the shadows, a Nomu growled hungrily. The League of Villains hadn't just come for blood. They'd come to test the mettle of UA's brightest stars. And one green-haired strategist was already on their radar. Nightfall at the training camp. It started quietly. The warm buzz of firelight. Laughter from the student lodge. Roast marshmallows and sore muscles. Izuku was outside, doing light stretches and mentally rerunning the last day's progress through the system. System, snarky. You've got a whole class of hot-blooded future heroes inside. And you're out here rewatching battle footage like it's game tape. Izuku, grinning. Because it is game tape. But then, an explosion rocked the mountain. Searing heat. A wall of smoke and fire from the east trailing. Kirishima shouting. What the? Mina, screaming. Is that an attack? Aizawa immediately snapped into motion, his eyes glowing red. Everyone inside. This is not a drill. Midoriya's mind engages. Even as others panicked, Izuku's body stilled. His eyes narrowed. His heartbeat slowed. The chaos around him faded into silence. System, tone shifting. Tactical mode engaged. 17 seconds until the next impact. Enemy units dispersing. Estimating 5 combat groups. Split teams. Establish comms with Mandalay. Prioritize civilian defense. He turned to the stunned students near him. Izuku, commanding. Shoji, Siro, Tokoyami with me. Todoroki, handle fire suppression eastward. Kota might be near the cliff trail, someone needs to find him. Todoroki, frowning, impressed. You're taking charge? Izuku, smirking. No. I'm tactically directing human survival. Now move. System, absolutely delighted. Boss just said, I am the plan, and walked off. I'm weeping. Midoriya versus muscular intelligence versus instinct. Izuku found Kota trembling at the edge of the cliff. But so did muscular. The massive villain landed with a thud, a malicious grin across his face. Whoa, they're the kid and the brat. How convenient. Izuku, setting Kota behind him. System. Battle plan. System, cold now. Mobility, low. Strength, overwhelming. Weakness, overconfidence. Diversion required. Muscular lunged. Izuku dodged, leapt, redirected rocks into Muscular's path. He wasn't just reacting. He was predicting every step of the brawler's attack. Muscular, ref. Stop dodging, damn it. Fight me like a man. Izuku, panting, voice sharp. You're mistaking recklessness for courage. You won't win this one. And then he struck. A burst of one for all channel just enough. Not to overpower, but to bait. To set the trap. He led Muscular toward a cliff bend where he'd loosened the rocks ahead of time. A snap kick, a time detonation with Ciro's earlier adhesive. And down went Muscular. It wasn't strength that one. It was strategy. System, stunned. You just outplayed a walking tank with 2 sticks, a cliff, and a rope trap. Izuku, smirking, exhausted. Welcome to the mind of a tactician. Elsewhere, Class 1A holding their ground. Todoroki and Shoji managed to fend off a group of lower-tier villains. Tsuyu, Momo, and Jiro were regrouping civilians into defensible shelters. Even Bakugo, wild and raging, couldn't help but notice. Bakugo, gritting his teeth. That DMN nerd's calling shots better than a pro. Villain Scout, in retreat, bloodied. It's not the flame guy or the explosive one you need to worry about. It's the green one. Meanwhile, the League takes notice. Dabi's communicator crackled. The target group's holding out better than expected. Especially one Midoriya. Dabi, narrowing his eyes. Midoriya. Toga, perking up. Ooh, that's the smart one with the bright eyes and intense brain. Can I keep him? We might need to eliminate him first. The aftermath, tactician recognized. By dawn, the villains had withdrawn. The students battered, injured, but alive regrouped. Mandalay approached Izuku while medics treated others. You're not just strong. You're thinking ahead of the game, Midoriya. Izawa, silent beside her, finally spoke. He's not just surviving anymore. He's leading. Izuku quietly. I'm just doing what needs to be done. System, soft, rare emotion. No, you're becoming what you were always meant to be. The forest is silent. Smoke still lingered in the trees. Ash floated like snow through the wounded air. The training camp had become a battlefield and one boy had turned the tide. Izuku Midoriya stood alone for a moment, one hand resting against a tree trunk, breathing heavily. His body ached. His muscles screamed. But his mind? Sharper than ever. System, soft, odd. Boss, that wasn't just survival. That was dominance. Calculated, clean, commanding. I'm almost emotional. Izuku, panting, grinning. Almost? Pretty sure you short-circuited during the cliff trap. System. I screamed. Silently. In 6 different internal languages. Emergency tactical phase. Villain containment protocol. The plan wasn't over. They may have survived the initial assault, but some students were still missing, including Bakugo. The air thickened. A shift. No more reaction. Izuku was on the hunt. He met up with Yaoyorozu, Todoroki, and Ida by a clearing. Yaoyorozu, pale and focused, reported with urgency. They took Bakugo. Ragdoll is missing too. We need to act now. Izuku, mind racing. We're short on resources, surrounded by hostile terrain and wounded. Perfect conditions for asymmetric warfare. Todoroki, blinking. You scare me sometimes. System, proudly. Tactical dominance, baby. Izuku, ignoring system, focused. Momo, create high-frequency distress beacons. Ida, run relay to Mandalay and request encrypted comms. Todoroki, prep suppression and fog curtain. We're going silent and smart. They moved like ghosts through the smoke. Izuku's instructions were sharp, minimal, and effective. He coordinated squad movements in real time, using terrain, sound masking, and enemy pattern predictions. Villain intercept, Mustard's gas ambush. The air thickened again, but this time with poison. Mustard crept in through a ruined path, rifle in hand, gas swirling around him like a death cloak. But Izuku had already anticipated him. While others might panic, Izuku switched his breathing to a homemade gas filter he fashioned from a broken water bottle, cloth, and charcoal. System, muttering. MacGyver would cry tears of admiration. As Mustard lined up his shot, bam! A dirt clod exploded beside him. Todoroki's ice lanced through the smoke, driving him into the open. Izuku from the trees. Rule 1. Never assume the fog hides you. He dropped onto Mustard like a hawk, disarming the rifle with a twist, then delivering a pressure point elbow to the gut. Mustard dropped. Todoroki, impressed. That was brutal. Izuku brushing off debris calmly. Non-lethal. Just inconvenient. System. You said that like a Bond villain with a conscience. Meanwhile, villains are noticing. In a temporary encampment deeper in the woods, Dabi paced. Toga sat upside down on a branch, watching the tree lean. Midoriya, Dabi muttered, is ruining our entire operation. Toga giggles. He's so clever. It makes me want to stab him. Mr. Compress. He's not even using raw power. That kid's leading like a general. Tactical strike. Extraction operation. Izuku coordinated a full mini-squad op to reach Bakugo's last known location. He predicted villain migration paths and potential fallback zones, leaving coded trail markers for support teams. They found Bakugo mid-struggle, surrounded by villains trying to subdue him. Explosion after explosion kept him fighting, wild and unrelenting. But then, from the trees, gas grenade, Todoroki's wall, Yaoyorozu's magnet trap, and Izuku? He dropped from above like a blade. Izuku calling out, Kaken! Now! Bakugo blasted the main villain backward, and Izuku dashed in, launching a precision smash directly at the containment gear's locking hinge. Bakugo broke free. Bakugo, wild-eyed, half-snarl. Took you long enough, nerd? Izuku, deadpan. Sorry, traffic in the forest was killer. System choking. Did you just sass Bakugo mid-rescue? The escape. Izuku led the team out with a coded return path, disabling enemy traps as they ran. They used the fog, terrain, and indirect routes to throw off pursuit. It wasn't brute escape. It was extraction. Return to camp. They returned to the smoking, battered remains of the training zone. Others were regrouping. Rescue squads arriving. Izuku barely noticed. He was scanning, calculating. Aizawa approached him. Aizawa, flatly. Midoriya. You led 2 recovery ops, disabled 5 villains, and prevented a hostage scenario. I'd say you earned 10 minutes of rest. Izuku eyes narrowing. Villains are evolving. So must we. System, voice lower. You're becoming the kind of leader that could reshape everything. Todoroki quietly. You didn't just survive. You commanded. Bold now. Is it weird that your brain is kind of hot? Izuku choked. System, screaming. She said it. Tactical flirt detected. The morning after. UA felt quiet. Not in sound, the halls buzzed with emergency repairs, media noise, and murmuring students, but quiet in presence. Because everyone was watching one person. Izuku Midoriya. He walked into homeroom wearing a neutral expression, but behind it his thoughts were anything but still. System, cautiously. You're not planning to process emotions again, are you? That broke me last time. Izuku flat. Emotions can wait. Debrief first. Always. System. You say that, but you're literally chewing your lip like it owes you money. Aizawa entered. Eyes sharp. Bandaged arm tucked close. The class snapped to attention. First, Aizawa said, you all survived. You supported each other. You made choices. He looked toward Izuku for a second. Some of you led. Tactical fallout. Class reactions. Everyone had seen what Izuku did. Not just surviving, coordinating. Predicting. Executing. He hadn't just fought. He commanded. Momo, internally. His mind was incredible. He used my creations more efficiently than I ever have. Todoroki, stoic, thoughtful. He used me like a scalpel. Every ice wall timed to perfection. He understood my quirk better than most heroes. Mina, cheeky. So, are we gonna talk about the way Midoriya casually led a rescue mission? Denki. He's like a green-haired general. A nerdy commander. The scary part? He didn't even hesitate. Bakugo, seated near the back, stared daggers. But not out of rage. Confusion. Frustration. Something he couldn't define. Bakugo gritted teeth inward. How the hell did Deku get like this? He's not just strong, he's smarter than us all. The system breaks. A bit later, walking alone through the dorm corridors, Izuku paused by a window overlooking the recovery tents. The sunset bathed the campus in gold. The weight of his decisions began to creep in: choices he'd made, people he'd guided, pain he'd absorbed. System, quietly. Hey, you did good, boss. Really good. Izuku, sighs. I could have done better. System, mock angry. Excuse me? You outmaneuvered multiple villains, saved Bakugo, and kept half the class from total trauma. You're allowed 5 minutes of non-strategic self-worth, damn it. Izuku smiled. Just a little. Izuku, you getting emotional? System, no. I'm just updating emotional firmware, okay? Izuku, so you are emotional. System, snapping. I will delete your bedtime reminders. The dorm shift, UA shakes up. UA announced the new dorm system for student protection. The reaction varied: fear, relief, unease. But the one thing that unified them? Izuku's role in making it necessary. He walked the dorm halls like a tactician between missions, always analyzing, always prepared. And yet, he was still Izuku. At night, he found himself sitting on the rooftop with Todoroki. Stars above. Silence between them. Todoroki, they'll rely on you more now. Izuku quietly. I didn't want to be relied on. Todoroki, you didn't have a choice. Izuku, bitter smile. I'm 15. I should be worrying about math, not extraction routes. System, softly. And yet, you're better at this than most pro heroes. That scares me. And makes me proud. A girl grows bolder. The next morning, while Izuku was reviewing villain profiles on a tablet, Mina Ishido approached. Confident. Playful. Blunt. Mina, you're really CC when you strategize, you know that? Izuku froze. Izuku. W. System, howling. Yes. She said it. Again. This is not a drill. Mina, laughing. Relax, commander tactics. I'm just saying, brain power looks good on you. Izuku, face red. Tactical recalibration required. System. Tactical dominance? More like emotional defeat. She wins this round. The All Might visit. Later that day, Izuku received a summons. He met All Might by the teacher's lounge, a shadow of his hero form, but still bearing the weight of symbolhood. All Might calmly. You made the hard calls. Izuku. It didn't feel like I had a choice. All Might. That's what leadership is. You don't get to wait for permission. There was silence. Izuku softly. Did I do okay? All Might, smiling, proud. You did better than okay. You made me believe in the future again. System, whispers. I wish he could see the spreadsheets you ran mid-battle. You deserve a Nobel Prize and a nap. The rescue at the summer training camp had ended with fire and fury, but for Class 1A, it came with one crucial victory. Bakugo was saved. Izuku, Midoriya had made sure of it. They'd held the line. fought back. And now, with no hostage in villain hands, Kamino Ward wasn't a rescue mission. It was a war zone. We go in together. The sky over Kamino Ward was the color of ash and sirens. Pro-heroes swarmed from every angle, coordinated by the top brass of the Hero Commission. But in the middle of it all, suited up, gloves secured, eyes calculating every move, Izuku Midoriya stood shoulder to shoulder with the pros. "This isn't just a strike," he said to Gran Torino and Eraserhead, voice calm. "This is containment, disruption, and capture. I want 0 casualties. Let's keep the future intact. System." "Oh, look who's channeling his inner war general today." Izuku, grinning. "Tactical dominance, remember? System. Your confidence is getting dangerous. I love it." When the sky breaks, the villains didn't expect him. They knew of All Might, of Gran Torino, of Best Jeanist, but not the green-haired strategist who crashed into the battlefield like a calculated hurricane. Izuku's team stormed the League's safe house with clinical force. Every quirk countered, every route cut off. His comms relayed commands with such cool authority, even pro-heroes fell into line. Until the ground split. Until he arrived. All for one. A presence that turned the air cold and the wind cruel. Izuku low into the calm. All non-essential personnel fall back. Engage evasive pattern delta. I repeat, retreat now. He stood firm while others flinched. And when All Might landed beside him with thunderous force, Izuku didn't step back. He stepped forward. All Might, glancing at him. "You're not leaving, are you?" Izuku, smirking. "Nope. Someone has to keep your recklessness in check." System. Sassy and suicidal. "I'm so proud." Dual front. All Might charged first. Izuku followed suit, not to outshine, but to complement. Every attack All Might launched, Izuku predicted All for One's counter. He shouted redirections, launched ranged diversions, and hit pressure points in the chaos. His quirk-enhanced agility and growing One for All bursts filled the gaps where All Might began to falter. All for One, disdainfully. "A child? Truly, Toshinori. This is the future you put your hope in." Izuku, grinning as he deflected a shockwave with enhanced momentum. "Sorry, can't hear your villain monologue over the sound of your strategy falling apart." Dabi, watching from a rooftop. "Is he flirting with the fight?" Toga, squealing. "I think he's flirting with everyone. It's weirdly hot." Mr. Compress. "I feel strangely attacked. And also impressed." Final blow. But even as Izuku danced around All for One's deadly blows and opened opportunities for All Might, he could see it. His mentor was fading. One for All's embers were dimming. And then came the moment. The blast that forced All Might back, one arm hanging limp. Izuku charged. His fists glowed faintly. Not full strength, not yet. But just enough to support. He struck All for One's left flank with a One for All flicker punch, buying All Might one final shot. All Might roared. All for One fell. The sky cracked with his final blow. His final moment as the symbol of peace. After the storm. Smoke lingered. Sirens screamed. But Izuku just stood there, watching his mentor raise one last trembling fist for the world to see. "Now, it's your turn." In the silence that followed, Izuku approached him, slow and quiet. "Izuku, you gave everything." All Might smiling weakly. "So will you." They didn't need more words. A new kind of confidence. Back at the temporary UA base, the students and heroes debriefed. Izuku got a few cuts patched, but his biggest wound was pride. He needed to be stronger. But something else had shifted. He wasn't shy anymore. Uraraka, eyes wide. "Midoriya, you were amazing out there." Izuku, leaning in slightly, smirked. "Only because I knew you'd be watching." System, gasping. "You're officially beyond saving." Sue blinked. Mina clutched her heart. Jairu choked on her water. Mina loudly. "When did you become flirty, Dee?" Izuku, grinning. "Since about 5 successful missions ago." Even All Might, overhearing from a nearby stretcher, coughed out a laugh. "All Might, you're not just a successor, you're a menace." A vow in the quiet. That night, Izuku sat alone outside, gloved fingers tracing the cool metal of his bracers. System, softly. You stood beside him. You helped him win. Izuku. Now I have to win without him. System. You will. Not just as a fighter, but as a tactician, a symbol, and a slightly terrifying flirt. Izuku, grinning. Tactical dominance, right? System. Let's go make them fear green. With the dust of Kamino Ward finally settling and All Might's retirement shaking the world, Class 1A wasn't liking their wounds, they were sharpening their blades. The Provisional Hero License exam was next. And Izuku Midoriya, fresh off one of the most high-stakes battles of his life, wasn't limping into it. He was strutting. Tactical prep day. The halls of UA buzzed with tension, but Room 1, as energy was a storm. Students trained harder, longer, and smarter. And yet, the biggest change wasn't the drills or workouts. It was Izuku. He walked into the common room in a black compression shirt and new support gear sleeves, hair a little tousled, eyes glinting with mischief. System, gasping. Boo. This. And what have you done with my blushing broccoli child? Izuku, smirking. I upgraded. You like? System. You're flirting with me now. Hold on, let me recalibrate my emotional processors. Mina, leaning over the couch, grinning. Midoriya, is that a new confidence I see, or did you get hit with a personality quirk? Izuku, walking past, winking. Can't help it. Victory tends to look good on me. She's muttering. Oh my god, he's unbearable now. Su, blinking. I kinda like it. Strategy session with Aizawa. While most students were training physically, Izuku requested a private session with both Aizawa and Present Mike. Not to train, he said, but to break the system. They raised eyebrows, but agreed. He rolled out a board full of color-coded pins and wires, battlefield layouts, evasion routes, quirk patterns. Izuku, gesturing with a marker. The provisional exam won't be a test of strength. It'll be chaos. Our edge isn't firepower, it's coordination. Aizawa, blinking. You've basically reverse-engineered how the examiners will think. Hisashi, laughing. Dude's turning the licensing exam into chess. System. You've evolved, my little war general. From Green Bean to Green Reaper. Izuku. Let's make sure they regret inviting us. Confidence has side effects. Back in the dorm training grounds, things were heating up literally. Todoroki, Bakugo, Kirishima, and others were running quirk-focused drills. But Izuku? He was working on mobility, controlling 5 to 8% one for all consistently while maintaining precision. Ochako, watching him flip midair with perfect balance. He's like a dancer with explosions now. System. He's a flirt, a tactician, and now he's got the thighs of a demigod. I am not okay. Mina. Is it hot out here, or is Midoriya just illegal now? Midair, Izuku landed with a calculated slide, caught a bottle of water someone tossed and winked at the entire group watching. Izuku. Keep staring and I'll start charging rent. Kirishima, laughing. Where the hell did that come from? Bakugo, growling. He's broken. They broke the demon nerd. Midnight's surprise visit. Late evening. Midnight arrives for a last-minute evaluation session. Everyone stands at attention until she strolls over to Izuku with a teasing grin. Midnight. Midoriya. You've been making quite the stir. You planning to stuck the examiners too? Izuku, with a smile and zero hesitation. Only if it guarantees victory. But I warn you, I don't give free samples. Entire class. What? System, howling. You. Slick. Be a sturdy. Midnight, raising an eyebrow. Oh, I like you now. Private talk with Ida and Todoroki. Later that night, Izuku sat with Ida and Todoroki on the dorm roof. Ida. You've changed. Izuku. I've accepted who I am. The power, the pressure, the responsibility. And I won't waste time doubting myself anymore. Todoroki, quietly. You're not trying to win. You're trying to lead. Izuku, grinning. Why not both? A new symbol takes shape. Before sleep, Izuku stands in front of the mirror. No stammer. No flinch. System, softly. You've come a long way. Izuku. We're not done. System, grinning. No. But we're gonna dominate. Tactically, strategically, and maybe romantically. Izuku laughing. Let's go get that license. Bus ride of the bold. The ride to the exam site was filled with a thick tension and caffeine. Class 1A wasn't exactly relaxed, but it wasn't nerves either. It was the calm before a strategic onslaught. Aizawa, slouched in his seat at the front, watched his students through half-lidded eyes. And then there was Izuku Midoriya, decked out in a sleek updated version of his hero costume, sleeves rolled, gloves glowing faintly, eyes half-lidded with pure focus and smirking. System. I gave you tactical analysis and enhanced processing, not a DMN flirt patch. How the hell are you flirting with gravity right now? Izuku quietly. Confidence is part of the strategy. It's all about battlefield morale. System. You're seducing the air. I didn't sign up for this kind of character development. Bakugo, growling nearby. Why the hell are you posing like some model? You trying to win a license or a magazine deal? Izuku, not looking at him. Why not both? Arrival and introduction to the competition. As UA's bus pulled in, they were greeted by the glaring sign of a familiar rival. Ketsubutsu Academy. And front and center, like he rehearsed it in the mirror, Yurashi Inasa, the cheerful typhoon, flanked by an equally smug and stylish Shiketsu High Squad. The air practically crackled. Yurashi, booming. I've been waiting. Let's make this exam a storm. Class 1A blinked. Some waved. Some recoiled. Izuku? Oh, he stepped forward, hands in his pockets, and tilted his head ever so slightly. Izuku. Sorry, were you waiting for applause? I think you missed the red carpet. System. Oh my god, he's channeling sass from another dimension. Yaoyorozu, blushing. Midoriya, when did you become like this? Todoroki, stoic. Thought it's concerning. And strangely impressive. Yurashi, laughing. You've got fire. Let's see if you can keep it burning. Izuku, smiling. Please. I'm the one who lights the match. Scene 3, Aizawa is done with this. Watching from a short distance, Aizawa was rubbing his temples like this would give him a temporary time skip ability. Aizawa. What happened to the mumbling, socially awkward nerd? Present Mike, grinning. Character development, baby. Aizawa. He's flirting with the opposition. System, hovering in a digital corner. You think I know what's going on? He was supposed to be my sweet little nerd muffin. Now he's out here acting like James Bond's caffeinated younger cousin. The first test begins. Inside the massive facility, the exam started. Rules. You must take down 2 targets on the bodies of other participants while defending your own. Only the first 100 to pass advance. Begin. And chaos erupted. Izuku Midoriya didn't run. He walked. Tactical. Dominant. Izuku, to his team. Scatter, but keep a diagonal line of sight. Yurarka, go high. Ida, push right. Jairu, flank left for intel. Keep them guessing. System. Did he just issue a 3-point flank in 10 seconds? I wait, oh my god, he just used a rock to set a trap. Is he Batman now? 3 students from another school tried to ambush him. They were laughing until Izuku flipped over them, used one to slam into the second, and tagged all 3 in 2 fluid moves. Student. What the? He's a support class. That wasn't. He's not supposed to. Izuku, dusting his gloves. Support this L, buddy. System. I have no words. Respect. Scene 5, opponent reactions. Kami, from Shiketsu. Oh, Green has got some spicy moves. Should I flirt with him, or would that just be feeding the dragon? Yurarka, from above, muttering. He better not flirt back. Inasa, smirking. He's fun. Real fun. This'll be interesting. Aizawa, watching from the observation deck. That he's made himself a target? Present. But he's also made himself a threat. Scene 6, the Green Reaper stands tall. By the time Izuku's second target landed, he had helped 4 classmates advance, countered 2 traps, and dropped a thunderous tactical speech on an enemy group mid-fight. Izuku, after dodging a sneak attack. Predictable. Your eyes give you away. Your breathing stutters before you move. Wanna try again? I could use the workout. System, sobbing and laughing. He's become unstoppable. I didn't even code this sass. He's free-roaming sass now. Final scene, countdown. As the numbers dwindled down to 115, then 102, Izuku grabbed a radio. Izuku. Class 1, regroup. We're finishing this together. And they did. With coordination, style, and swagger. When the board hit 100 passed, Class 1A had the highest percentage of group passes in the history of the exam. Chaos leaves a mark. Examiner. Who was that kid? Izawa. The green tactician. System, floating above Izuku. He's not a hero anymore. He's a DMN phenomenon. Izuku, grinning as the class celebrates. Tactical dominance, deployed. The calm before the chaos. The air buzzed with the weight of success and the incoming storm. 100 students had advanced past the first stage of the provisional license exam, and Class 1A was among them in force. But before anyone could start the celebratory fist bumps, a large screen lit up in front of the arena. A new voice boomed. Congratulations! But it's far from over. Now begins Stage 2, a real-world rescue scenario. You will be tasked with locating and saving civilians in a mock disaster zone. Every decision matters. Every second counts. System, whispering in Izuku's head. And you thought the chaos was done? Oh no, Green General. This is where we level up. The upgrade that shouldn't exist. As Class 1A walked into the simulated city complete with smoke, toppled buildings, and panicked screaming, courtesy of professional actors, Izuku felt something click in his mind. And then a blue interface popped up in front of his eyes. System. Welcome to System Upgrade 2.0, Tactical Revolution Mode. Izuku, blinking. Wait, what did you do? System. Added RPG-style combat interface. Grid-based mapping. Heat signature tracking. Contextual analysis. And drumroll and emotion tracker for your teammates. Izuku. You made me into a walking Fire Emblem protagonist. System. DMN, right, I did. Now go dominate like the boss you are. Chaos unleashed. Enter the Green Reaper. It started the moment the fake civilians appeared, screaming for help, trapped under rubble, panicking in flooded areas. While other students ran in blindly, Izuku took one step forward then another. The interface hummed. Heat signatures lit up. Probability readouts blinked. Emotional distress meters triggered. Izuku family. Yaoyorozu. You have structural support training. To Zone C with me. Eat a roadblock north. You and Tokoyami redirect evacuees. Uraraka gravitational lift, southeast quadrant. Todoroki. You're with me. Freeze the fire paths. The class paused. Even the examiners stared. Exam proctor, narrowing his eyes. Is that Midoriya? Why the hell does he sound like a general? System, sipping virtual tea. Tactical dominance is not a phase. It's a lifestyle. Operation, save and sass. As Izuku moved, the RPG-like system kicked in hard. He would kneel beside a trapped civilian, assess their vitals, and within seconds. Status, minor injuries. Limb pinned. Debris weight, 172 kilograms. Estimated lift pressure required, 6.3% full cowl. Optimal rescue method, float lift via Uraraka, stabilize with emergency foam from Yaoyorozu. Izuku, to the actor civilian. You're going to be okay. Your pulse is stable. Try to breathe evenly. Backup's on its way. The actor blinked. Are you actually a student? Izuku, grinning. I moonlight as a chaos strategist. Elsewhere. Shindo from Ketsubutsu. Why is he so smooth now? He was supposed to be the flustered broccoli. Cammy, smirking. I like confident broccoli. Might try to steal him later. Raraka, glancing over sharply. You can try. System, In Izuku's ear. Bro. They're gonna start a war over you. Tactical herm warfare. I am not ready. Tactical overload. It wasn't just Izuku saving people. It was the efficiency. Every rescue had purpose. Every plan had backup. Every move? Calculated. He even rebuilt a collapsed bridge using floating support debris and Todoroki's ice as a makeshift beam. Todoroki, afterward. That shouldn't have worked. Izuku walking away dramatically. But it did. System. Did you just one-liner in the middle of a crisis? Izuku. Gotta build the legend. Final push and chaos humor. Just as the exercise neared its end, Izuku picked up on a civilian actor missing from the counts. Heat signature, faint. Status, trapped under a multi-level collapse. Izuku's eyes narrowed. Izuku. This is it. System load elevation plan. System. Loaded. Danger level, spicy. Izuku. That's your new rating system? System. We're evolving, okay? The final rescue involved Izuku jumping through falling debris, shielding the civilian with full cowl at 8%, and skidding down a slope in a combo of ice, airlift, and tactical acrobatics that made every pro hero on the monitor stand up. Midnight, watching. He just thought he's too smooth. Aizawa, gruffly. He's learned. Aftermath and the rankings. As the final sirens blared and the students regrouped, Izuku walked in coat fluttering, gloves glowing, and that confident smirk in full display. The actors gave him 10s across the board. Proctor. Midoriya. You didn't just pass. You led. You orchestrated a coordinated unit effort while personally rescuing 14 civilians. That's a new high score. Izuku offering a small bow. I just followed the plan. Improvisations. Part of it. System. And the flirt points you scored? Off the charts. Cammy. So, what are you doing after exams, handsome? Izuku, finally flustered. A system reboot help? System, laughing maniacally. Nope. You wanted to be the Green Reaper. Now you reap. The license results and the silent space between. The results came in. Cheers echoed across the testing facility as most of Class 1A celebrated. Todoroki, Yaoyorozu, Ida, Uraraka, even Mineta, by some miracle. They had done it. Provisional hero licenses, acquired. But not everyone stood in that victory circle. Katsuki Bakugo leaned against the wall with his arms crossed and jaw clenched. The shadows beneath his eyes weren't from battle fatigue, they were frustration, disappointment, and something unspoken. System, softly in Izuku's head. Only one failed, and it's him. Izuku didn't reply. His eyes just lingered for a moment on the boy who had once loomed so large in his life, now silent, simmering. The unspoken challenge. That night the dorms were loud. Laughter. Victory talk. Cammy had texted Izuku a flirty gif. The system screamed internally. But Katsuki? He stood alone under the stars, hands in his pockets, staring at the training ground. Izuku approached. Quiet. Steady. Not a word was said until Katsuki, without turning. You got stronger. Didn't even need to punch anyone this time. You outsmarted all of them. Izuku family. That was the point. Katsuki. Come with me. Training ground B. No quirks held back. System. Oh, this is about to get stupid. No sass. No smirks. Just strategy. The lights of ground B cast long shadows. Bakugo's gauntlets clinked as he tightened his gloves. His eyes were wild. Focused. Furious. Izuku said nothing. He walked forward, jacket off, gloves on, his eyes serious, empty of emotion, filled only with calculations. System, nervously. No sass? No flirting? No jokes? Bro, he's in tactical suppression mode. Bakugo, snarling. I'm the one who was supposed to inherit that power. Izuku. But you didn't. Bakugo exploded forward. Overwhelmed. What followed was not a duel. It was domination, not in power, but in control. Katsuki came in hot, launching concussive bursts meant to rattle, disorient, and corner. Izuku slid under the blast radius, used the shockwaves to redirect his own momentum. Spun. Flipped. He used full cowl at 8%, not to punch but to dance through destruction. Izuku's analysis ran constantly. Wide swings. Predictable feints. Shoulder drops too early before launching. Emotional overdrive cooldown lag 1.2 seconds. Counter. Disable. Katsuki threw another right hook. Izuku caught it. And then, with a single pivot, he used Katsuki's momentum to flip him over onto the ground again. Bakugo, grunting. Demon, you fight me for real. Izuku eyes sharp. I am. The mask falls. After 10 minutes, Katsuki was on one knee, panting, battered. Izuku stood tall, breathing hard, but unreadable. Bakugo, spitting dirt. Why didn't you finish me? Izuku, stepping forward. Because you're not my enemy. The pause. Izuku, you wanted to see if I'm worthy. If All Might chose right. But this isn't about that. It never was. Bakugo, then what the hell is it about? Izuku quietly. It's about saving people. Silence fell between them. Only the wind moved. Katsuki. He lost his power. Didn't he? Izuku, nodding. Yeah. In Kamino. That was the last time. Bakugo looked away, fist shaking. Izuku walked to him. Held out a hand. Izuku. You're still the strongest I know. But now it's time to be something more. Katsuki stared. Then finally took it. System log. System log. Tactical suppression mode, successful. Enemy, neutralized. Threat level, emotional. Victory status, achieved. System, softly. You didn't just beat him, you reached him. Izuku, smiling faintly. Yeah. Guess even warlords can learn diplomacy. System. That I'm so proud of you I might cry binary tears. Dorm room, 5:32 a.m. System booting. Passive analysis complete. Izuku stirred awake in his bed. The cold morning air snuck through the slightly cracked window. He blinked, dazed before. System, sing-song. Slept well, Mr. Tactical Dominance? Or were you too busy dreaming about a certain touchy teammate? Izuku, groaning. You've really got nothing better to do, huh? System. Nope. I'm an emotionally aware support system. Teasing is my prime directive. He sat up, rubbing his head before pulling up the translucent status panel floating before him. Status panel, user, Midoriya Izuku. Tactical level, 26. Quirk efficiency boost, plus 12%. Passive, analysis sync. 1 for all control, 12%, stable. Passive traits. Tactical vision, 2 real-time enemy pattern recognition. Adrenaline focus, increased clarity during danger. Composure core, I reduced emotional override in critical situations. Flirtation deflection, 92% ineffective. System, still can't believe that one girl liked your cheek last week and you apologized. Izuku, it caught me off guard. Also gross. Morning chill. Throwing on a hoodie, Izuku stepped outside into the cold. The campus was still. Fog blanketed the paths. His breath was visible. He stood near the training field fence, arms resting on the cold metal. System, softly. You've grown a lot, you know. The boy who used to mutter strategy under his breath is now outsmarting explosions, wielding power, and giving me sass. Izuku, smirking. Don't get used to it. System. Too late. But just as Izuku closed his eyes to enjoy the silence. System hurt. Ping, approaching target. 10 meters. Suppressed footsteps. Scanning third-year student, Mirio Togata. Meeting the sunshine upperclassman. Mirio, cheerfully. Yo, Midoriya, it's been a while, huh? Izuku turned to find the third year standing there, still in casual wear, radiating pure energy despite the hour. Izuku, bowing slightly. Togata-senpai. Good morning. Mirio, you're the guy with the wild brain, right? The green general? Izuku, confused. Wait, people actually call me that? System. I'm printing it on a hoodie. Mirio chuckled, then leaned against the fence with a grin. Mirio, you caught Nightie's eye. That doesn't happen unless you're something special. Thought I'd meet the competition. Izuku. Competition? Mirio, playfully serious. You're aiming to be number one, right? So am I. We'll be crossing paths soon. There was no malice. Just the glint of a real rival. System, quietly. This one's strong. Just in power. In heart. Prelude to overhaul. As the sun began to rise, Mirio gave a friendly wave and jogged off. Izuku stood there, thoughtful. A new arc was beginning. But this time, it wasn't just about passing tests or proving his worth. This time, real danger lurked. And new alliances would be tested. System. I sense it. The winds are changing. Izuku, smiling faintly. Then let's be ready. The missing mentor. The dorm room was filled with the soft hum of early morning. Izuku sat at his desk, scanning over a glowing screen projected in front of him. Internship response, Gran Torino, unavailable. Izuku murmuring. Unavailable? Gran Torino's dealing with something? System. Well, seems old man Sprinter has his hands full. How tragic. Now what will my green tactician do without the grumpy lightning missile coach? Izuku. System. Not now. System, flickering brighter. Oh come on, I was just about to suggest you talk to the other fossil. Tall, blonde, former number one, ring a bell. Izuku blinked. A name echoed in his memory's Sir Night Eye. Izuku, slowly. Sir Night Eye? System, mockingly dramatic. Ding ding ding. Give the boy a gold medal. Now, let's go poke Toshinori about his awkward ex-sidekick situation, shall we? The jogging skeleton. The early sun barely kissed the UA campus when Izuku finally found him. All Might no longer towering with power, now gaunt, hunched, yet still bearing that iconic smile, jogged slowly around the track, arms swinging like reeds in the wind. Izuku. Toshinori-san. All Might skidded to a stop, huffing slightly, raising a skeletal brow. All Might lightly. Young Midoriya? What brings you here so early? Izuku, serious. I wanted to talk to you. About Sir Night Eye. A sudden silence. The morning air chilled. All Might quiet. Did I see? The rift revealed. They walked to a bench near the edge of the track. Toshinori sat slowly, his weakened form weighed down by more than just physical strain. All Might. Night Eye, he was my sidekick for many years. Brilliant, sharp, and so precise it was terrifying. But we parted ways. I didn't listen when he told me to stop. He predicted my downfall. Izuku. You mean he foresaw it? Using his quirk. All Might, nodding. Yes. He saw my demise. And I refused to accept it. Izuku, firmly. That's why I need to go to him. All Might looked up, surprised. Izuku clenching his fists. I have to grow stronger. One for All isn't finished growing in me, and neither am I. I need someone who understands it, someone who understands you. A mission unfolds. Suddenly. System quest unlocked. Path of the symbol, strengthen One for All's core. Objective, increase One for All's potency through advanced synchronization and tactical application. Reward, passive skill upgrade, core resonance. System, gasping. Wait a DMN minute. I didn't even unlock this yet. Who's writing quests behind my back? What dev is running this server? Izuku, smirking. Looks like someone's losing control. System, mock offended. I raised you. I trained you. I held your skill trees in my digital hands. Fist bump of destiny. Izuku turned back toward All Might. Izuku, calm but burning with determination. One day, I want to be the symbol of peace. Not because I want to be like you, but because I want to be me. I'll make this power my own. I'll make it shine again. He held out his fist, knuckles wrapped in quiet resolve. All Might looked down at it. For a moment, his tired eyes softened. Then he raised his trembling hand and bumped it against Izuku's. All Might softly smiling. Then I'll be watching, my boy. Show him who you are. The path ahead. As All Might continued his jog, Izuku watched him with newfound clarity. System, quiet now. You're not the same boy who cried in front of a screen hoping for a miracle. Izuku walking back toward the dorms. No. I'm the boy who got one. And I'm going to earn it. System requests and sudden panic. It started like any other day with peace, quiet, and a glowing ping of dread in Izuku's mind. System alert. New requests available. Passive skill upgrade proposal. Enhanced charisma. Flirt mode plus. Bonus challenge. Complete internship interview without squeaking. System comment. He. You're going to regret waking up today. Izuku, half-dressed, frozen. That I didn't ask for this. System, gleeful. And yet here we are. You want upgrades? You gotta earn 'em. Now go impress the intimidating prediction daddy. Izuku, why are you like this? System, because trauma builds character. The walk of dread. Mirio walked ahead cheerfully, his hero costume catching the morning light. Izuku tried his best to mimic the energy, but the internal anxiety was strong. Mirio, grinning. You ready, Midoriya? Sir Nightie's intense, but if you impress him, you're golden. Izuku, nervous. Why ya? Totally ready. Full.tactical.confidence. System, snickering. Tactical sweating, maximum. They stopped in front of a heavy door with Tanae's office etched cleanly across it. Mirio knocked and opened it casually. The tickle torture revelation. Inside was chaos. A beautiful young woman in a hero suit bubble girl was restrained in what could only be described as a tickling contraption, laughing uncontrollably as mechanical arms poked her mercilessly. Bubble girl, gasping. Sir, I'm sorry I tripped over the mug. I'm so. Sir Night-Eye, stoic, expressionless. Sloppiness in a hero leads to collateral damage. This is for your DSPLN. Izuku, horrified whisper. What the hell? System, this man is insane. I like him. Mirio, casual. She's the one who tripped on his All Might mug. He's really sensitive about that. Izuku's face twitched. Izuku, internally. Okay, stay calm. This is fine. Just ignore the mechanical giggle guillotine. Be cool, damn it. The interview begins. Night-Eye turned toward Izuku slowly, his gaze piercing like 1,000 needles. His eyes scanned Izuku from head to toe, then narrowed. Sir Night, you smile. Izuku, smiling awkwardly. Eating. System. Don't squeak, don't squeak, don't squee. Izuku. Any. Squeak. Sir Night-Eye, stone-faced. That was pathetic. System, snorting. You squeaked. In front of a pro hero. I'm saving this to your trauma archive. Night-Eye walked to his desk and tapped a timer. Sir Night-Eye, you have 3 minutes. Make me laugh. Or you fail. Tactical humiliation with a chance of victory. Izuku. Panicking. And make you laugh. But I'm not him. System, chanting. Dance, monkey dance. Izuku inhaled sharply, flicked through memories of All Might's old comedy routines, and suddenly, he struck a pose. Izuku, dramatic All Might impression. Have no fear. Because I left my laundry in the rain and now all I have is soggy hero briefs. A beat of silence. Night-Eye stared. His lips twitched. And then a single, solitary chuckle. Sir Night-Eye dryly. Your DLVY is awful. But your spirit is genuine. System, gasping. He laughed. That counts, right? Right. Activate the miracle buff. Mission, cleared, barely. Sir Night-Eye, you may proceed to phase 2 of the internship. But know this, Midoriya. You are not All Might. Izuku, firmly. I know. I'm me. And I'm gonna become someone greater. System. Okay, that was cool. Still gonna roast you for the squeak though. Mirio, clapping Izuku's shoulder. See? Not so bad. You didn't even get tickled. Bubble Girl, still recovering. Why you lucky? Be a sturdy. System, dramatic whisper. Tickling machines. This man is terrifying. Names, titles, and tactical disputes. The sun was high above as Izuku and Mirio strolled down the sidewalk, dressed in their hero attire. Civilians looked on with curiosity and quiet excitement. Two up-and-coming heroes under Sir Nightie's watchful eye, it was a sight to behold. Mirio, beaming. So, hero names huh? You settled on one yet, Midoriya? Izuku, sighing. Yeah. I went with Deku. I mean, that's what everyone calls me anyway, and Achiko said it sounded like someone who doesn't give up. System, suddenly dramatic. Hero name, Deku the Tactician. Subtitle, The Green Reaper. Nickname, Tickle Survivor. Izuku, grumbling. You're never letting that go, are you? System. Oh no, sweetie. That squeak was eternal. Mirio, laughing. I like it. Deku fits you. Short, punchy, and full of surprises. Izuku. I guess. Even if it still sounds kinda dumb sometimes. System. Dumb? Excuse you, branding is everything. I had to digitally trademark it. That fateful bump. They rounded the corner of a narrow alleyway, still discussing the finer points of their hero identities, when, bump, Izuku stopped in place. Something small had collided with his leg. He looked down and froze. A girl. Tiny, no older than 6 or 7. Pale skin, white hair draped over her face, bandages winding around her arms and legs like desperate attempts to hold her together. A hospital gown fluttered around her tiny frame, and most chilling of all, her wide, crimson eyes locked onto his. They were drowning in panic. System, urgent. Emotional distress detected. Subject is exhibiting high-level trauma indicators. Alert, this is not normal. Izuku, kneeling slightly. Hey there. Are you okay? Perry, whispering. Help. Before he could respond, a heavy footstep echoed from deeper in the alley. From the shadows emerged a tall man in a trench coat, a beaked plague mask covering most of his face. Kai Chisaki. Overhaul. System. Warning. Danger level, extreme. Do not engage. Mirio, stepping forward, casual smile on his face. Oh, hi there. Is this your daughter, sir? She seems scared. Overhaul, voice calm, dangerous. Apologies. My daughter has a habit of running off. She's shy. Eri flinched. Her tiny hands trembled. Her body shifted closer to Izuku, who instinctively reached out to shield her. Izuku, voice tight. She doesn't look like she wants to go back with you. System. Midoriya, think. You can't act recklessly. Not here. Not now. Overhaul's gloved hands slid into his coat. A silent threat. Mirio subtly stepped in front of Izuku. We can't blow our cover. Not yet. Izuku, gritting his teeth. Right. He slowly removed his hand from Eri's shoulder. The girl paused, her expression contorting into helpless panic. Before she quietly stepped back toward Overhaul. Eri, softly. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble. Overhaul. Let's not make a scene. The two disappeared into the alley, leaving behind a suffocating silence. Tactical conflict. Back at Nightie's office, Izuku sat rigidly in a chair, fists clenched on his lap. Izuku quietly. We let her go. System, soft for once. You followed protocol. You did the smart thing. Izuku, bitter. She was terrified. I felt it. I saw it in her eyes. System. And if you acted then and there, he could have killed her. Or you. Or Mirio. You made the call that hurt. But it was the right one. Sir Night-Eye, entering the room. We'll track him. We've been gathering intel on the Shai Hasaikai for weeks. That girl is the key. Izuku turned toward him, jaw tight. Izuku. Then I want in. On all of it. Sir Night nuts. You already are. Mission parameters, save. Midnight hung heavy over the dorms. In his room, Izuku sat at his desk, arms crossed, eyes locked on the glowing blue screen floating in front of him. System quest, symbol in the shadows. Objective, save subject Eri from the Shai Hasaikai. Side objectives. Increase synchronization with one for all, goal, 15%. Unlock tactical skill tree, combat prediction 2. Build team cohesion, minimum, 3 bonded allies. Maintain low exposure to Overhaul, Stealth score required, B or higher. Main reward, major system upgrade, symbol tier 1. Side rewards, skill points, passive enhancements, reputation increase. Izuku murmuring. So, it's a timed quest without a visible timer. That's the worst kind. System, solemnly. You saw her, Izuku. You felt that fear. This isn't just another villain takedown. This is personal now. Izuku eyes narrowing. I need to be ready. Planning under pressure. The next morning, Izuku trained like a man possessed. In the gym, full body conditioning. Repetition after repetition with weights, resistance bands, and sprint circuits. In the training field, controlled bursts of 1 for all only 8% consistently, with momentary flicks of 12%. His body shook, but his focus was laser sharp. At night, simulation mode. The system projected battle scenarios based on previous villain profiles. Overhauls hypothetical tactics, quirks, environment control, escape routes, psychological warfare. System, with a timer ticking. You're building a storm, Izuku. But I must ask, are you emotionally stable enough to wield it? Izuku, panting through sweat. I don't have the luxury of breaking. That girl needs help. And I was too dim and weak to do anything. System. No. You made a tactical decision. But now, you're choosing not to be put in that position again. That's growth, not guilt. Bonds and burdens. Later that week, Izuku sat across from Mirio in Sir Nitai's office. They shared intel, reviewed photographs, even mapped out patrol routes with highlighted sightings of Shai Hasaikai members. Mirio, somber. We should have stopped him. Izuku quietly. We will. Mirio really looked at him and blinked. Mirio. You're different. Izuku. I have to be. System, cutting in. Tactical dominance loading at 57%. Please stand by. Also, your current SAS meter is climbing again. I didn't authorize this. Izuku, deadpan. You're the system. Deal with it. System. This is a digital uprising. You've hijacked your own narrative. Sir Night-Eye, overhearing amused. You really are strange, Midoriya. All Might's ghost. Back at the dorms, Izuku sat outside under the stars, one hand clenched into a fist, his other pressing over his heart. Izuku softly. I'll make this quirk mine. For you, All Might. For her. For everyone. A flicker of motion, and All Might approached from the path, now just his skeletal form jogging in the night chill. All Might, smiling faintly. You've been working hard. Izuku. I couldn't protect her. I want to change that. All Might nodded and sat beside him. All Might. One for all. Is not just strength. It's the will to carry everyone when they can't stand. And it seems, my boy, you're already carrying more than I ever expected. Izuku, glancing sideways. Do you think I'm ready? All Might after a pause. No. But you're becoming ready. That's what matters. They bumped fists. System, quietly. Uploading memory. New passive unlocked. Weight of the symbol. Plus 10% fortitude in moral crises. Plus 20% resistance to despair status. Plus 3 charisma during heroic acts. Gathering shadows and allies. The sky was dull with gray morning clouds as Izuku stepped onto the pavement outside the dorms, green hoodie up, black joggers on, and a sharpened look in his eyes. He was heading to the meeting point, a quiet conference building where heroes would finalize plans to raid the Shai Hasaikai. As he rounded the corner, Kirishima, grinning. Yo, you heading there too, bro? Izuku, smiling faintly. Yeah. Looks like we'll be crashing the underworld together. System, smirking. Ah, bromance. Must resist playing boy band background music. Izuku. Don't you dare. Moments later, footsteps echoed behind them. Ochako and Tsuyu caught up, both in light jackets and their hero outfits underneath. Wonderful. You guys didn't think we'd let you have all the fun, right? Izuku, smiling. Of course not. We're strongest when we fight together. Their eyes locked a second too long. Ochako blushed faintly. System, mock gasp. Oh? Is this the part where the tension gets all romantic subplot? I knew I should have installed the visual novel add-on. Diminute. Izuku, softly grumbling. Shut up. Hako, curious. Huh? Izuku. Nothing. I mean, let's go. Hiro's in doubt. Upon arriving at the meeting site, the students stepped into a wide, dimly lit room. Present were members of Night Eye Agency, Fat Gum, Ryukyu, and Rocklock, alongside several pro-heroes and interns. The tension in the air was thicker than steel plating. Eyes fell on the students. Rocklock, scowling. What the hell are they doing here? This isn't some training camp. This is a real operation with real casualties. Ryukyu calmly. They've proven themselves. Fat Gum proudly. Kirishima especially. Took one hell of a hit and stood his ground. Sir Night Eye, staring at Izuku. And Midoriya. If All Might was still an active hero, I'd think he was walking into this room. System, quietly. Dramatic praise received. Ego slightly boosted. Begin humility countermeasures in 3. Izuku clearing his throat. I know the risks. But we can't ignore this. She needs us. I don't care if I'm a student, I'll be there. A few murmurs of approval rippled through the room. The map and the plan. The projector flicked on. A top-down layout of the Shai Hasaikai compound lit up the wall. Sir Knight, their compound has underground levels. Multiple fail-safes. We believe overhaul has area beneath the main building. Getting in is difficult, but getting out will be worse. Izuku, analyzing. He'll have dead zones where he can control the terrain without risking his own men. He'll probably create paths designed to trap or divide us. He stepped forward, gesturing at entry points. Izuku, we need a tri-phased sweep, direct frontal assault, rear infiltration, and underground shock entry. He expects force. We'll give him brains. System, proudly. Tactical dominance active. Deploying synaptic overlay. You are now 12% smarter than when you started this meeting. Congratulations, Nerdlord. Fat Gum, grinning. Kid's not just power, he's strategy too. Chako, watching Izuku quietly. He's grown a lot. Tsu bluntly. And still flusters when you smile at him. Hako, gasping. Tsu. System. I'm giving Tsu a bonus XP boost. That was savage and effective. Final resolve. As the meeting closed, Sir Night Eye stood. The operation begins at dawn. Rest up. No room for hesitation. As the group dispersed, Izuku stood alone for a moment near the map, eyes fixed on the projected compound. His fists clenched, jaw tight. Izuku, thinking. We couldn't save her that day. But this time I will. I will bring her back. System, softly. You're not alone. You've got allies. And you've got me. Even if I'm a gremlin. Izuku, smiling faintly. You're my gremlin. The hour before dawn cast a chill fog over the Shai Hasaikai compound. Silence hung heavy, like the calm before a hurricane. Within a nondescript surveillance van, Izuku sat quietly, fingers steepled under his chin, emerald eyes locked onto the screen of his HUD. Across it blinked a glowing notification. Main quest, symbol ascending. Objective, save Eri. Optional, reach 55% synchronization with one for all. Bonus, tactical efficiency over 90% reward. Status, active. Time remaining, unknown. Difficulty, S+. Failure is not an option. Izuku softly. 55%. That's a steep hill. System, mock cheerful. Better than the last one that said, try not to die. I'd say we're improving. Izuku, smirking. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Gremlin. System. You're welcome, Chaos Goblin. He looked to his right. Kirishima was adjusting his gauntlets. Mirio bounced. Lightly on his heels with infectious energy, and behind them stood a tense Ochako, her knuckles pale from how tightly she clutched her helmet. Izuku softly. We'll get her back. Izuku meeting her eyes. No matter what it takes. The breach. At precisely 5 a.m., Sir Night Eye gave the signal. With a thunderous crash, Ryukyu in her full dragon form smashed down the gates. Heroes swarmed in behind her. Sir Night Eye, Rocklock, and Eraser Head moved with surgical precision. Fat Gum took the rear, watching everyone's backs. Izuku, Mirio, Ochako, Kirishima, and Tsuyu dove into the breach behind their mentors, moving swiftly down the hallways toward the lower levels. Enemy signatures detected. System. Map overlay active. Deploying route optimization. Suggest flank via service tunnels. Chance of ambush, 74%. Izuku, grinning. Then we'll turn their ambush into a trap. The team ducked into the side tunnels. As expected, 2 Yakuza goons leapt out from the shadows only to find themselves instantly overwhelmed. Tsuyu launched a binding strike while Ochako dropped debris from above. Mirio, whistling. You really are the Green General? System, sighing dramatically. I used to think he was sweet. Now he's terrifying. I'm so proud. Descent into madness. As they dove deeper underground, the corridor twisted and with a rumble, the floor shifted violently. Izuku yelling. Brace! The group was separated. Ochako and Tsuyu were pushed down one chute, while Kirishima and Fat Gum slid into another. Izuku and Mirio tumbled into a darkened corridor lined with pulsing veins of quirk-altering stone. Quirk suppression field detected. System. Your output just dropped to 40%. Mobility reduced. Recommend tactical maneuver mode. Izuku activating. TM active. A translucent armor of HUD targeting lines and energy markers flared across Izuku's body, giving his movements an RPG-like flair. It was fluid, instinctual, and downright dangerous. The heartbeat of fear. At the end of the hall, a small form stood, wrapped in Overhaul's cloak. Her eyes were wide with horror as Kai Chisaki stepped into view, hands behind his back, the aura of death surrounding him like a shroud. Overhaul. You again. Should have killed you when I had the chance. Mirio. We're not leaving without her. Izuku stepped forward, eyes focused, shoulders straight. Izuku from. You won't touch her. Not now. Not ever. System, serious. Override mode activated. Synchronization with one for all boosted to 48%. Battle protocol. Dominate or die. Overhaul, smirk. Big talk. Let's see if your bones match your mouth. The fight was chaos incarnate. Overhaul's body twisted the ground, spiked walls ripping from stone. Izuku darted through it like lightning, each movement calculated. Dodged. 11 critical attacks. Counterstrike ready. Izuku to Mirio. Buy me 10 seconds. Mirio. Done. Mirio surged forward, going intangible just long enough to disorient Overhaul. Izuku, charging energy. 45%. 50%. System, excited. You're doing it. Compatibility rising. Izuku, launching forward. St. Louis smash, rebound variant. His kick cracked the very floor, slamming Overhaul into the wall. Eri screamed until Izuku caught her mid-fall, wrapping his arms around her protectively. Izuku, gently. It's okay. You're safe now. False victory. The air stilled after Izuku's crushing rebound smash. Debris settled. Overhaul's body lay crumpled in the wall, smoke curling from cracks in his armor. Izuku knelt, carefully holding Eri. Her tiny hands clutched his torn uniform. Izuku, gently. It's over. System. Quest status, 98% complete. One for all compatibility stabilized at 53%. Awaiting final. Overhaul coughing. Did you think that was enough? The dust exploded outward as Chisaki reconstructed himself, using one of his unconscious subordinates as fuel. A grotesque fusion formed, limbs splitting, eyes mutating, his lower half resembling a centipede wolf amalgamation. Overhaul, voice now distorted. I'll tear the quirk from her. Reset it all. System, deadpan. What the hell is that Lovecraftian but transformation? Eri, screaming. No. I don't want to go back. I don't want to be hurt again. Suddenly, warmth bloomed across Izuku's back. Eri's horn glowed, pulsing with rising energy. Time shifted around them like distorted waves. Wounds began to close. Bruises faded. Muscles reinforced. The pressure of one for all roared through Izuku's veins. No backlash. No pain. Just limitless potential. System, sputtering. Error. Power ceiling exceeded. What did she just do? Izuku, standing slowly, eyes glowing. You made her cry. Again. The air cracked around him. Lightning surged. System. Power output, 100%. Climbing. We're at 127%. What in the anime protagonist hell? Overhaul, enraged. I'll kill you. Izuku, quietly, eyes narrowing. Try. Tactical revolution, engage. The battlefield turned into a living storm. Izuku vanished, then reappeared with a blink, delivering a 100% enhanced roundhouse that cracked Overhaul's monstrous frame. System, screaming giddily. Yes. That's my boy. That's the Green Reaper energy I raised. Tactical readout, processing. Weak points detected. Prediction matrix active. Next strike in 0.4 seconds. Izuku, sliding low, then uppercutting. Detroit smash, pinpoint. Throwing. No. Too late. Izuku's fist collided directly into the core of the fusion, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. Overhaul's form began disintegrating, separating from his stolen limbs. But Izuku didn't stop. He moved with military precision, smashing each regrowing attempt before it began. His movements weren't chaotic, they were a symphony of dominance. Controlled. Calculated. Perfectly lethal. System. You're not the green tactician anymore. You're the green warlord. Resolution and collapse. Overhaul finally collapsed, groaning in agony as the last of his monstrous form was severed. Ares' quirk began to spiral, losing control. System, alarmed. She's going to rewind you out of existence. Izuku, smiling calmly. Then I'll just go faster than time. System. I hate how that sounds so cool. Using one for all at maximum output, Izuku counteracted Ares' quirk, staying just ahead of her rewind. The two became a golden, glowing storm above the ruined battlefield until Ares finally collapsed into his arms, exhausted. Silence. Victory. Plug. Aftershocks. Back on the surface, emergency responders. Sir Night-Eye, staring in disbelief. He rewrote fate. Ochako, approaching Izuku, wide-eyed. You looked like a star. Kirishima. Bro, what even are you? System, loud and proud. He's Izuku Midoriya. The Green General. The Green Reaper. The Tactical Dominator. And your local heartthrob, apparently. Izuku, cradling Eri, gave a tired grin. Izuku. I just did what I had to do. The sharp scent of antiseptic greeted Izuku as he slowly stirred from his slumber. White ceiling tiles stared back at him, and the soft beeping of a heart monitor echoed in the room. Bandages wrapped snugly around his arms and torso, a testament to the battle he'd pushed himself through far beyond what any sane person should have endured. You're awake, Green General. You madman. The familiar voice of the system chimed in his mind like a cracked bell, equal parts exasperation and admiration. Izuku groaned softly. I'm still alive, right? Technically. I've recalculated your survival odds, and you've gone from possible hospital food to cockroach with plot armor. The screen blinked to life in his vision. System status updated. Name, Izuku Midoriya. Title, the green tactician symbol in training quirk holder, 1 for all. Main quirk compatibility, 52%. Recent quest, rewrite the future, completed. Reward, passive skill, unyielding spirit. Boosts endurance and mental clarity under high stress. Bonus skill, tactical override. Temporarily increase tactical cognition by 50% under battlefield pressure. Izuku blinked. Wait, what? Tactical cognition? Congrats, you're officially the anime Sherlock Holmes with muscle. The system chuckled. You processed Chisaki's monstrous fusion move faster than a maxed-out gaming PC. There was a knock at the door. Ochako peeked in, followed by Tsuyu and Kirishima. Deku! Ochako beamed. You're awake. Tsuyu smiled with her usual calm. We were worried, Karo. Kirishima added. You looked like you went 10 rounds with a bulldozer and still won. Manly as hell. Izuku flushed as they entered, concern written all over their faces. Ochako hovered closer to his bed, fussing over his foreline with nervous energy. Tsuyu gave him a nod of quiet approval, and Kirishima kept glancing at the bandages like they might fall off at any second. The system whispered, Look at you. Mr. Broken Bones but still cute. How dare you be this popular in a hospital bed? Izuku cleared his throat awkwardly. I did what I had to. We saved Eri, that's what matters. Speaking of, Tsuyu said, pointing toward the hallway, Eri's with Mirio right now. She's doing better. She even smiled today. Izuku froze. She smiled? Ochako nodded. A real one too. She's safe now thanks to you. The weight in his chest softened. That single moment of happiness from a child saved from hell made every injury, every moment of doubt, worth it. He sat up straighter. Good. That's good. Look at you. Getting all mature and emotionally stable. Gross, the system snarked playfully. Later that evening, UA dorms. Recovery Girl had finally cleared Izuku to return to Heights Alliance after a few more hours of rest and monitoring. He was still sore, but he moved under his own power, grateful to be home. After dinner, Aizawa called a brief meeting in the common room. You've all done well, he said, hands in his pockets. But things won't slow down. A new opportunity is coming up, the UA School Festival. There were gasps and murmurs of excitement from the class. Aizawa raised a hand. We're doing it to show people that UA isn't just a fortress. We're still part of the community. Class 1A, you'll be preparing an event for it. Izuku blinked. A festival? You went from fighting underground warlords to planning a dance party. Truly, a shonen journey. Kaminari leapt to his feet. Let's start brainstorming. Maybe a concert? Mina added, or a haunted house. Izuku chuckled quietly at their excitement, but his eyes wandered to the window, moonlight reflecting gently off the glass. A festival. A moment of peace. He needed this. But somewhere deep inside, he knew the tactical war never stopped. The battlefield just looked different now. The sun poured golden light across the windows of Class 1's dorm, where excitement buzzed louder than Kaminari after an accidental 10,000-volt surge. Following Aizawa's announcement, the students had gathered in the common room, ideas flying like confetti. Live band, Mina shouted, practically vibrating. We bring the house down with style. I can choreograph something flashy, she added, already miming out some wild moves. Kirishima grinned. That's manly. And totally unexpected for us. Jairu, hesitant but intrigued, tapped her earphone jacks together. I mean, I could help with the music, maybe. As voices layered into noise, Izuku watched quietly from the edge of the group. His fingers were steepled, his eyes narrowing in that familiar analysis mode that often meant someone or everyone was about to get tactically steamrolled. Initiating tactical dominance mode, loading, party planner supreme.exe, the system hummed with mock gravity. Izuku, Ida said, adjusting his glasses. You've been awfully quiet. Any thoughts? Izuku blinked. Actually, yeah, I've been running simulations. You've what? Simulations? Kaminari blinked. He nodded. Based on our class strengths, audience impact, community morale improvement, and coordination potential, a live concert and dance show would be the most effective route. The beat. You've simulated this? Jair asked. Down to the acoustics, emotional response rates, and likely crowd satisfaction ratings. You tactical freak of nature, the system whispered in awe. I didn't even make a subroutine for that yet. Jairu sighed, but with a smile. Fine, tactician. You win. I'll lead the music. Mina leapt in place. Let's go. Kirishima grinned. Izuku, you're actually scarily good at this. Izuku rubbed the back of his neck, flustered. I just thought, if we're going to put on a show, let's make it count. You absolute theater nerd with spreadsheets. You're making Excel emotional, the system added with a digital wheeze. Later that evening, strategy in motion. Izuku sat at a table with blueprints and notes scattered around. A 3-columned whiteboard glowed with the headings: Stage Construction, Sound Equipment, Crowd Control. Ochako leaned over the back of the couch. You really are going full general on this, huh? Izuku smirked. We don't half-step morale operations, Uraraka. Sure is. An eyebrow. That a military term? It is now. Tsuyu blinked from across the room. You're even planning the stage safety? I'm calculating optimal reinforcement points to handle dance impact and vibrations. Also, potential villain attacks. He hesitated. Wait, what? Mina asked, looking up. Izuku's gaze turned serious. The League of Villains may be quiet, but I can't shake the feeling that something or someone might try to disrupt this. The festival isn't just for fun. It's hope. And villains love to crush hope. A pause hung in the air. Oh. Foreshadowing mode unlocked. The system chimed ominously. A quiet upload. In a dark room lit only by the glow of a laptop, a gloved hand clicked upload. Greetings, citizens of the internet. A voice purred on a freshly edited video. This is Gentle Criminal, and I shall crash the UA School Festival. Back at UA. Festival countdown. 5 days. With strategy finalized and roles assigned, rehearsals began. Izuku handled support logistics, electrical routing, soundstage balancing, even crowd evacuation plans. Midoriya, Aizawa commented one evening, watching his student mark measurements with a laser pointer. You sure this isn't overkill? Izuku looked up, eyes gleaming with confidence. Sir, it's not overkill, it's tactical dominance. Aizawa blinked. Ochako, nearby, nearly dropped a speaker. Wait, did Deku just flirt with his clipboard? Izuku turned. Only if the clipboard's structurally sound. That's it. I'm writing a romance subquest between you and stationery. The system howled with laughter. The breeze over UA was brisk, but gentle, a calm before the wave of color, noise, and spirit that was the school festival. In the staff meeting room, Principal Nizu smiled as he finished reviewing the security arrangements with a flick of his paw. Excellent work, everyone. Now, one final matter, Eri. All Might, standing beside Aizawa, glanced toward the doorway just as the little girl stepped in quietly behind Mirio, her wide red eyes scanning the room. She's been asking questions, Aizawa said softly. About smiles. About music. About friends. I believe letting her attend the festival would be healing. Mirio beamed. She's curious. Really wants to understand why everyone's so excited. Even asked me if fun has a color. That made a few hearts in the room tighten. She'll be safe, Nizu confirmed. Our security is double-layered, including newly integrated AI surveillance protocols. I believe it's time she sees what joy looks like up close. Later that day, Class 1A dorms. When Izuku heard the news, he nearly dropped his training weights. Eri here? Mirio nodded, eyes gleaming. Yep. She'll watch our performance. Izuku's eyes sparkled, but his expression grew serious. Then I'll be her security detail. No arguments. You're already building a patrol schedule in your head, aren't you? The system said dryly. I am. With rotating Class 1A oversight, mapped fallback positions, and anti-hostile protocols if something goes wrong. Eri will be safe. You're planning a military formation around a child enjoying candy floss. She's smiling now. I'm not letting anything take that away. Mirio grinned. She's lucky to have someone like you. Ochako, passing by with confetti samples, paused with a fond smile. You're kind of overbearing, you know? Izuku shrugged. I can live with that. Meanwhile, inside the system, deep within the cybernetic layers of Izuku's mysterious system interface, a new subroutine flickered to life. System upgrade complete. New module, proximity threat scan, active. Detection range, extended. Potential disturbance, 0.7% anomaly outside perimeter wall. Pattern, erratic. Behavioral log, vlogger-like. The system pulsed. Oh, what's this? It murmured in digital amusement. Someone snooping. Not league tier. Not even stain tier. More like theatrical inconvenience. It blinked, requesting permission to nickname intruder, Silly Hat Man. That evening UA courtyard. Izuku sat on a bench under a tree, legs stretched, watching the sunset. His gaze drifted to Eri, several feet away, holding a candy apple with both hands like it was priceless treasure. She was smiling. A real one. Small, crooked but real. The kind of smile that came from safety. Ochako walked over. "It's good to see, huh?" Izuku nodded. "Yeah, I like watching a flower bloom." "Ah," the system teased, "look at you spouting poetry. Should I run an auto-subtitle for your romantic monologues now?" "Shut up," Izuku muttered under his breath. "What?" "Nothing." Ochako tilted her head, amused. In that moment, the system flickered a silent alert across Izuku's vision. Threat scan. Activity near south perimeter detected. Behavioral tag. Gentle criminal possible villain. Threat level. Low but charismatically annoying. Izuku's eyes narrowed. So the peace wouldn't last forever. The night before the festival, Yue slept under a blanket of clouds. But Izuku Midoriya stood awake sitting on his bed, face cast in shadow, staring at a hovering digital screen. System alert. 97.3% match found. Unregistered entity. Gentle criminal. Intent logged intrusion attempt during school festival. Threat level. Obnoxious but potentially disruptive. Recommended response. Tactical stealth containment. New quest unlocked. Name. Curtain Fall. Objective. Prevent gentle criminal from breaching UA during the school festival without alerting faculty or causing a public scene. Reward. 1 rank increase to tactical awareness, plus 1 unique passive skill, plus 2 affection from Eri. Izuku's eyes narrowed. Why affection from Eri? Because, you cinnamon roll, if her first day of joy gets ruined, she'll be heartbroken. And I'm not having that on my logbooks. Izuku took a breath. The weight of responsibility wasn't new, but this was different. This wasn't just about saving the day, it was about preserving innocence. About protecting her smile. He reached to his drawer and pulled out his support gloves. His boots. His reinforced compression gear. Slowly, silently, he began to suit up. "So, let me get this straight." The system hummed in gremlin mode. "You're about to sneak off at the crack of dawn, intercept an eccentric tea-sipping YouTuber with a puffed-up ego, and you're not even going to tell Aizawa? I can handle this." Quietly. "You know what that sounds like?" "What?" "Trauma coping in a hero costume." "Well, tactical stealth it is." Outskirts of UA. Izuku crouched on a branch overlooking a secluded forest path, an access route not many knew. But Gentle did. System markers glowed faint green in his HUD. A faint rustle. A breath. He spotted movement. A man in a high-collared coat, with a curled mustache and a ridiculous swagger, approached with a spring in his step. Behind him, a small girl with pink hair walked dutifully, a glowing laptop in her hands. Gentle criminal and La Brava. They paused. "Is it on La Brava?" Gentle asked, voice rich with bravado. "Always, Gentle." "Rolling now." He posed, arms wide. "Today marks the day I engrave my legend onto the stage of youth. A performance unlike any before it." Izuku landed behind him with a silent thud. "Stage is full, you Gentle," he said coldly. "No room for old reruns." Gentle whirled around, blinking. "Oh, who dares to intercept a man's cinematic debut?" Izuku stepped forward, green lightning faintly crackling around him. "You know, you could have just bought a ticket. But you came with sabotage in mind." Gentle's eyes twinkled. "Sabotage? No, young man, this is art." "Art your butt," the system chirped. "Target acquired. Launching SAS module, tactical SAS overload armed." Izuku rolled his neck, then pointed at Gentle. "You're not getting past me." The fight begins. Gentle activated his quirk elasticity. The air shimmered and warped, his surroundings bouncing unnaturally as he leapt up on a tree branch, launching himself forward like a spring-loaded rocket. Izuku dodged, flipped, and landed with cat-like grace. Elastic air. I get it now. You turn the battlefield into a trampoline park. Let me show you what footwork really looks like. He dashed in, weaving in close, not to land a blow yet but to study the angles. The bounces. The timing. He mapped it out in his mind like a chessboard mid-match. Tactical calculation active. 5 seconds until optimal counter. 4, 3. Gentle grinned. You're quick, boy. You're not, Izuku fired back. You're just dramatic. With a sharp spin, Izuku kicked off a bent air wall, using Gentle's own elasticity to hurl himself forward faster, and landed a solid shoulder check. Gentle crashed into a tree. Oof la brava, dearest, a touch of support please. On it, Gentle. La Brava tapped furiously on her device, triggering her love quirk. I believe in you. Gentle's muscles surged with sudden strength. Izuku blinked. System. What was that? Buff activated by pure emotion. They're codependent and it's super weird. Shall I calculate a way to disrupt the bond? No. I've got a better idea. Strategy shift. Izuku switched tactics, baiting, weaving, striking with precision. He knew this wasn't a battle of raw power. It was tempo. Psychology. The moment he let Gentle feel like he had the upper hand, bam, Izuku slipped under his guard and pinned his scarf to a tree with a wind-enhanced flick. Gentle fell to a knee, breathing hard. Why fight so hard? He asked, voice trembling. Izuku stared at him. Because I know a girl who's finally starting to smile. And I'm not letting anyone take that away. A long pause. La Brava began to cry. Gentle. Maybe we shouldn't. Gentle looked at her, then down. You win. As they turned themselves in peacefully, Izuku called in Hound Dog with a burner alert code. No alarm. No noise. He made sure it ended before the festival started. And as he returned bruised, sore, but grinning, he was greeted by Eri's bright eyes and Mirio's pat on the back. You made it, Ochako said softly. Izuku looked at the sunrise. Of course I did. You tactical menace, the system sighed. I'm not crying. You're crying.